Hey there, kids. It's me, Oni the Unicorn. And I'm here to tell you that f***ing your dreams ain't cheap. In fact, it costs a ton of cash to do. So that's why me and the Oh No Radio Show need your help. Just go to the website displayed below and hit us up with some cash, yo. $1, $5, $1 million if you have it to spare. Any amount is appreciated. Well, I gotta go because these dreams ain't gonna fuck themselves. See ya!
Oh my God, what's gonna happen? Oh my God! We have a new champion!
Welcome back to another edition of the Oh No Wrestling Podcast. Yes, this is a wrestling podcast. I heard that the internet needed more of them, so we started one, back in the day, and we're still doing them. And, I tell you what, it's going gangbusters over here. Because, I'll tell you this. My name is Owen, and I am the Sharp Break Kid. And along with me tonight is my good friend, the one and only modern-day Mataraja. And we are so excited because, I can't even really speak. You can hear me, Matthew. I'm stumbling all over my words. Because the match of the century has finally been announced. The one that I've probably been waiting for. I don't know, man. At least for the last 4 years. It's finally here, and it's happening at WrestleMania. The biggest stage of them all. The grandest stage of them all, as they say. Matthew, do you know what match I am talking about?
I mean, if I'm dream booking, you can't... If it's what I think it is, actually, because I'm not even dream booking anymore. I've dreamt this for eons, I think. I think before I was born, it was in the stardust that came into my DNA,
Yeah.
Like, this is universal, and it's not even for a championship. It's that big. Fuck the bloodline story.
Don't need it. Fuck you,
don't need
Sammy.
Cody Rhodes.
Fuck you, Cody.
Fuck you, Cody. Fuck all of that.
Don't need it.
I don't need any of that shit. I don't need any of the women's title matches or anything like that. I actually hope this match is both the only match on night one, and it's the whole night, and it's like 5 hours.
I feel like,
and then it goes
without
into
a doubt,
night two.
without a doubt, it's a match that I feel like we would be robbed if they do not, quote unquote, as they say, give them time. Right?
Yeah,
like this
they gotta
match.
Give them time.
Later we'll talk about that. Well, it's nowhere near like this, but we'll talk about like the MJF, Iron Man match with Bryan Danielson. But no. This match needs to be a double Iron Man, if anything. Like this.
Yeah, at least.
At least. I like your idea of just having it be the whole night one of WrestleMania. And then maybe they run it back night two. Maybe
That's
they
what
run
I'm saying.
it
Like might as well run it back night two.
Guys, we're talking about, of course, Brock Lesnar versus Omos. It's official. It's official. It's gonna be what an epic. What an epic.
Were you able to catch the segment last night?
I have seen a clip of it. I didn't catch. I think how they cut them short. I wasn't able to watch. So walk me through what you saw.
I caught the whole thing live.
Oh, okay,
man,
great. I like that you caught it. You can fill us in.
And I got to tell you, it was an emotional roller coaster for me because there were points that I was just in love with it. And then there were points where I was like, what are they doing? Still doing in there, talking?
But you're being like legitimate when you say you were in love with it for a bit, like in some facet.
I was just in love with like the whole Brock Lesnar of it all.
Yeah.
I think like because he's giving us a little bit more of that happy comic fucking.
I love Cowboy Happy Brock. He's the best.
Yeah.
He's the
best. He's the best. You know? And so that's what I loved about it. The rest of it, the MVP stuff, the whole VIP lounge thing.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that was
something.
Not great. It was something. And there were moments where it just kept going kind of long. And I was thinking to myself, yeah, they should have stopped a while ago. I'm over this. This is now stupid, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, Brock would do something, and I was back in, man. I was like, it was like anytime MVP was talking or something, I was out. But when Brock started doing his thing again, I was back in. I was like,
I'm gonna have to go back and watch this whole thing. I think I missed on some of the finer details of this segment.
So yeah, so Brock came out first. And so the VIP lounge was already set up, and then MVP came out. So it was a power move.
Yeah.
Fucking power move.
Like,
you're a very important person, so am I. I came out here and got in your fucking lounge.
I'm in your club. I'm in the club before you.
And he's like just shit-eating grin on his face, like just talking shit. He's like, I heard you're about, he's like, Brock Lesnar's about business. I heard you wanted to talk to me about some business.
Let's go.
Like, I was half expecting him to put his fucking boots on his couch and be like, fuck your couch.
Oh, that would have been great. Yes. I mean, don't even have to say it, but like do a version of the couch, you know,
exactly.
I'm not gonna say the word,
just
but
something like that.
Dude.
So I mean, we obviously know what happened, but I mean, there were points of it where he like accepted, and then MVP was like, "Wait, what?" And you know, and I was like,
"Yeah, it sounds like it's the match is on."
You asked him to show up to announce this, and MVP, why are you acting like he showed up before you to your own thing that you invited him to accept the thing? So I think he's going to do it. Then he accepts, and then you're like, "You sure you want to do this?" But some of the phrasing also by both of them, and even Brock, it was laughably so bad it was good. Some of the things that he said during it, and it was like a 10-minute segment, dude.
Yeah, it was long. Yeah, like I will have to give it its due and go back and watch the whole thing. I do like it's the absurdity of it too, right?
Yeah.
It's the absurdity of it. It's there's parts that oh my god, like I've heard people say is like, it's Vince writing this type thing. I'm like, you know, and I can understand the logic that someone would, you know, say this is a Vince thing or whatever. It's too self-aware somehow to be a Vince thing. Like it's Brock. I think he might actually be smart. And I think that he might, or he's just got such good guidance from from Heyman behind the scenes that he knows how to play it, right? Like he knows how to play this situation. And we're mocking it, but it is an absolute, it's gonna be terrible, but it will be entertaining.
Be cool when he suplex him.
It will be exactly what they want. And what the people want for two behemoths colliding at WrestleMania. Like it does fit the bill somehow, some way. And I'm not gonna pretend it's not gonna be a masterpiece. It's just gonna have its place. It's gonna do its job. And there's one other huge reason why they're doing this. Do you know?
I don't. But before you tell me, I think that when this was first kind of starting to happen, I thought maybe this was like a demotion for Brock Lesnar.
Well,
right?
I think we all thought it was a bit of a swerve. It was sort of a deflection to get away from the Bobby thing to maybe bring us back to the Bobby thing at Mania.
Yeah.
Never really thought that the actual match would get booked and is on the card as we speak.
Yeah. And so I think though, Lesnar knows how strong it will make him look with someone that large when he's able to do a suplex on him or something. He's going to pull off some move, like a feat of strength that is going to make him even look more like a beast. That will carry into any other feud beyond this.
Just F5ing a guy that size is like such a, feat of strength, right? It will be like probably the biggest guy he's ever done that move to. There's not any that I can think of that would top that, right?
Yeah.
Brock would not be working with Omos if Brock did not want to work with Omos.
Yeah.
So there's that as a huge part too. But one of the major things that this match and why this match is taking place, it is 100% for kids. Look at the YouTube numbers for any segment with Omos in them. They're through the goddamn roof. When Omos and Braun had their thing, they went ballistic, okay? Because it was two big dudes. Who's the bigger guy as far as fame and toughness and all that sort of stuff than Braun Strowman? Brock Lesnar. You put Brock and Omos consistently gets all the social media clicks and YouTube likes. I think it's that the kids love him. I think they like seeing a guy. They don't care about his technical prowess or whatever. The guy's just fucking huge. And to see that guy against the other big red cowboy monster is an appealing attraction match for specifically the younger demographic. That is why this match is happening. And it will make money. Brock Lesnar will win. And he will get to suplex Omos, which in the visual of that will be incredible, right?
Yeah.
A German on, a guy that size will be incredible. Omos will get a bit of offense in here or there. Brock will make him look as good as he possibly can. And then there will be the F5 to the monster, and that will be that.
Unless he fucks up like Braun did that one time and stiff Brock, and then Brock just fucking leaned and punched the.
I don't want that for Omos because as much as he might be a limited performer, by all accounts, he seems like a really nice guy behind the scenes, and I feel like again, Brock wouldn't have taken the match. Brock will do his best to protect him, and realistically, I think Brock, he's had a mixed history of this. But if Brock wants to work with you, he's going to make you look good. Even if he's going to win, he's going to make you look good. The one exception is Dean Ambrose. That would be the one big exception. But he didn't want to necessarily work with Dean.
Yeah.
Everyone else, he always makes them look like a credible threat until they don't, until it's Brock time. And then, Brock does Brock stuff.
I like to think it's booked. You're probably way more right. I like to think that because he threw that tantrum at Rumble that was apparently not in the script, after he got eliminated and such, and then he did it something again. I don't remember what it was. Maybe it was Chamber or something. He did something.
It was Chamber.
It was very similar. So I like to think that he thought he had the free range because of Vince, and then Trips is like, listen, man,
no,
this is like fining you. And so I'm going to put you with Omos. And
Omos is going to go over? What? Fuck no. No goddamn fucking way. He'll quit before that.
No, not that Omos is going to go over, just that you have to be put in the program.
You have to actually work a program with him? That's his punishment?
Yeah, you got to work a program with him. And that's your punishment. And Brock's like, fine, but I'm going to be fucking balls to the wall, cowboy farmer Brock.
Oh, God.
Dude, I thought before he pulled out, he was talking about being a farmer, blah, blah, and he had his hand in his pocket. He's, because an MVP was going to pop the champagne. He's like, no. And he's like, I'm a farmer. And he's like, and I grow the best stuff. I thought he was going to pull weed out for the way he was talking.
That was, because he said that. I did see that part.
He was on the inside
of
his
grow
jacket.
He said the best.
I'm a farmer, I grow the best stuff, which is like, fucking
weed terms.
Or wheat. And yeah, exactly. Shit for mash whiskey or fucking moonshine. White lightning, as he called it. Yeah, but I thought that was funny. I was like, what if Brock Lesnar just pulls out weed right now
and just sparks a J on like TV, like
yeah,
Matt Riddle, get out here, like
get out here. Yep.
yeah. Well, I liked your idea previously, or our idea from I think last week. We were talking about having the Brock's Butcher Shop brawl.
Yeah, we were.
Like, I still like that one a little bit more. But did you see I mean, we're gonna tangent all over the place. That's what we do on Ono Wrestling. But did you see that they might have even outdone our ideas for stupid matches on NXT?
Oh, are you talking about
okay, I gotta let me
street fight?
Yeah. Like, okay, let's think about this. Let's think about this. We're gonna do it's Tony D'Angelo and Dijack. Yes, in a jailhouse street fight. Okay.
So jails take people off the streets
and put them behind bars. So it's the opposite of the streets.
Yep.
I mean, I get what they're saying. Just call it a jailhouse brawl or a jailhouse hardcore match, or
call it a prison fight.
Call it a prison fight. Not a jailhouse street fight. It's stupid. It doesn't make any goddamn sense. And goddamn it, NXT, get it together, Sean.
Yeah,
you and your stupid eye.
Like, because they're gonna show up in, we hope, the classic, street fight jeans and shirts.
Well, I don't know, because maybe they're showing up in jail attire. They might be in stripes.
Why are they? Why did the jail?
I don't know. I haven't followed the storyline close enough, but I like. Okay, here's what you do. You have Tony D'Angelo. He's dressed in the old school, the stripes, like the convict escape from jail, the stereotypical black stripes, right? Like, he's in that. And then you have Dijack in
orange,
full nails attire. Exactly. Full nails, orange.
Yeah.
Looking all hard and big and shit. Like, that actually, I mean, that would make it better.
Yeah, well, and you got to have prisoners standing around the yard or wherever they are,
cheering them on and kicking dirt in their face and shit
exactly.
like that.
Lifting weights.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. If it was done like that, you could do that shit cinematically. It would be badass. Do a prison brawl. Like, we're both in here. Maybe they're both in orange to make it a little more realistic, right? Yeah. They're in the more modern uniforms, all that type of shit. But you've got they're even the guards are in on it. They bring them out into the yard, right? And then they unlock them both. They're like, all right, we're turning our backs. It's all on you now, and they let them go at it. Yeah.
1 hour match.
Yeah.
Yeah. Prison fight.
Put that on wrestling.
I'd be down for a prison fight.
Yeah, but I don't know about I don't know about a jailhouse street fight. That just doesn't make much sense.
Maybe we'll be surprised. Maybe we'll be like, that's what it is. I can't fucking believe it. There are some things recently for as good as the Bloodline stuff has been and such. There are even things now that are popping up that I'm like, man, there's just little details, and the details like that with a jailhouse street fight.
You know what it screams to me? It screams to me writers that don't understand wrestling. Writers that understand the concept of telling decent stories, but don't understand the nuances of what a street fight means in wrestling, let alone comprehensive English language skills because of just that one. But a lot of these things scream that the writers, that they've hired good writers. The writers are writing good stories. But there's pieces missing from the puzzle when it connects to pro wrestling. I felt that a couple of times.
Even on the opposite side of that, someone who is very into it in pro wrestling and has been lauded for a long time and knowing how to tell stories.
Oh, they hired some marks back there that are fucking writing now.
No, I mean, I don't know who's fucking up Bray's shit other than him.
Well, he's doing that. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Why? What I don't I mean, none of it makes sense. I was excited. I mean, you'll pop me every time I see the Muscle Man dance. Like you'll always get me with the Muscle Man dance. Like, that's fine. I don't know why is Muscle Man dancing for Bobby. Like, seems a little homosexual if you ask me. That whole thing, but like Bobby's like, does this guy want to fuck me? Like, he's just showing me picture. Like, it's like that's me like doing a Muscle Man pose, and he's doing a Muscle Man dance, and I don't know. Like, it doesn't seem like scary just because he goes run at the end and like the moth thing pops up. Like,
I'm so over Bray Wyatt shit,
but
dude.
none of it.
It goes nowhere. There's never a.
You have to prove to me that there's any sort of direction with anything going on with Bray Wyatt at the moment, because I feel like Bray had an idea, it was going nowhere, and now they're like, all right, something's not clicking, something's not right. We've got to pivot. We got to do something, and I think they're in oh shit mode with Bray is exactly what I think they're in.
As well they should be.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Bray is a detriment to anyone he comes near. I kind of feel bad for Bobby Lashley right now because I just don't even think he put on a good match in that last match that we all waited for forever. It was months, dude, like 3 months.
Yep.
Like, he was coming out doing promos every week and this, that, and the other. It's just get in there and fucking wrestle.
Exactly. Or just be brutal, be something, have a goal, let us know what Uncle Howdy is. Let us, like, if he's this important, he's hanging around, well then, like, you got to kind of give us an idea. You got to let us in a little bit more than fucking
but like, they were against each other, then they were together. Yeah. Then he helped him in the pitch black fight.
Exactly.
And then, but then later, after he did that elbow or jump or whatever the fuck it was,
right,
you know, with the flames, like 2 matches later, he showed up on screen at the end of the Alexa Bliss match. Then Alexa Bliss has been off TV
and rumored to be going away for a bit.
Now,
so like,
then they brought back Firefly Funhouse. Then we got this weird Firefly Funhouse Bray as a kid idolizing and, you know, things. And then you throw in like the Firefly Funhouse and there's a door open and then you got the moth and the fucking skulls and shit. I just don't know what's happening.
They're trying to follow some of like his stupid lore in his head because he's been on this like Wyatt 6 kick for a while, right? Like, so they're trying to make some of that make sense and tie it in. When in my mind, it's just like, ditch it all together. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about Huskus the pig. Don't worry about all the fucking exterior characters that are in this world. All you have to do is focus on the one. Get rid of Uncle Howdy right now. Just even if he just never shows up again, and maybe Bray references him in one promo saying, Uncle Howdy was the one that get me on the right track. And thankfully, you know, he has come and gone, and now he sort of goes into like, he can just be psychotic Bray, beat people up, ditch the spooky shit, have fucking cool braids, cut weird little promos. That would be more interesting to me than having this ongoing lore of nothingness that doesn't seem to go anywhere. Right?
It goes nowhere. Yeah, it goes nowhere.
Have a boring match and be a perpetual mid-carder for the rest of your time, because that's what you are.
Yeah.
You sell a lot of merch. Be happy with that. Sell it while you can and get the fuck away from the business, because you're a cancer at this point. Like, you suck the air out of a program at this point. Like, it's not, I guess maybe it works for children, maybe it works for the younger demographic, but it's not working for anybody with a adult brain that follows stories in a cohesive way.
I don't see how it could make any sort of cohesive storyline to an adult who watches wrestling on the regular. And
I guess from what I'm guessing, because I remember a report about a month or so ago that it was listed backstage that Cody Rhodes was the top babyface on Raw, and that Bray Wyatt was the top babyface on SmackDown. I very much think that they are switching those because Bray obviously appeared on this week's Raw. Cody is announced to appear on this week's SmackDown. SmackDown, it would make sense, would be the show that Cody would more than likely want to appear on more often should he win the belts at Mania, being it's the network show, face of the company, all that type of stuff. Bigger ratings, more reach, all that. So yeah, I think you're going to get like, they're never going to say it because they don't really even acknowledge the brand split now. But
well,
you're more or less going to get Bray to Raw, Cody to SmackDown, and that's the trade. Like, that's what's happened.
They've had a couple of storylines where people are just jumping back and forth every week, and sometimes they're showing up on Raw and SmackDown.
Speaking of Cody, before definitely want to get to your major thought here in a second, but one little tidbit that maybe I missed it early on, but I don't think I did. So obviously we all know his like Homelander jacket type style that he's been using. He was doing on the indies to AEW, brought it back with, WWE. When he came out with the torn pack match, right? That was the Hell in the Cell match, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when he came out with that, he had one of those jackets on, but I never noticed this. The side where his pec was all fucked up was all these like scales. So it was like scales instead of this. Like, if you look at it, it's like the one side is all like scales instead of the typical Cody pattern like it usually would be on the other side. So I think it would have been the first time he used it. I'm trying to figure this out. If the first time he used it was at that Hell in the Cell match, but I saw like a tweet, like someone posted a piece of fan art that he retweeted and commented on, and he comments on like, yeah, the scales above the torn pack, like in his gear. So if you look, like he's telling you in his gear that he's damaged on the one side type thing.
Yeah.
He calls them scales. Like, and I can see why he gets that term, but the one side is different than the other in the gear that he wore, I believe, at Hell in the Cell. And I think he's also been using that since his return in his matches. That's where I'd have to look at that, because he's still acknowledging that might be like an Achilles heel or a weakness or that type of thing, like with that torn pack.
Okay.
On break, I'll send you a picture if you can't find it. Like,
I mean, everyone, like, everything on YouTube for his entrance for Hell in a Cell is all fucking, it's all people in the crowd. Like, so I can't.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Fine. Okay. Wait. Oh, fuck. Hey, stop with the video game shit. Give me the real one. I don't want to see the one you created.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah.
That's stupid too. Fuck WWE. Just all right. I'll find it on.
Yeah. It's not that important. I just wanted to bring it up. It's something I know you wanted to bring up, and I wanted to bring up to ask you is, you kind of said you think you finally figured out why you don't get Cody, and that you're not popping for him, I guess, like everyone else is I think the words you use.
I think I figured it out.
Let me hear it.
I think I figured it out.
Let me hear it. Because I'm a little mixed myself. I don't think I'm as down on Cody as you are. But you were very much in the mindset last week that you would be happy to see Roman Reigns beat him. I'm not in that camp. But let me hear what you have to say. Sorry.
So, yeah, no, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, that is what I said last week. I still stand by it. But this week, there were a couple of things. When I saw him last week's like Raw come out, then I saw him this week, and I was just thinking about it over the weekend, and I was like, why is this? Like, everyone loves him so much. And then I had your phrase of wrestling is politics is wrestling come up, and I was like, well, Cody Rhodes is like the number one politician, right?
He's even talked about when he gets out of wrestling wanting to get into politics, by the way. Just saying.
Yeah, because he wants to do the thing The Rock won't do or something.
Right.
Yeah. Oh man, he's gonna be like Kane and come out as some like conservative, fucking crazy.
Well, he'll be like the mayor of Atlanta or something. That's what he wants. Is something like that.
Yeah.
Governor of Georgia, senator or something. He'd be a good senator. I mean, he has the look, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does have the look. He should just be a lobbyist or something.
Yeah. Lobby for independent contractors. That's what you should do. Should do.
But then I figured out, I was like, it's because his shtick is so much like a politician.
Yeah.
That I just fucking dislike him because
you can't buy it.
Well, because he's not being the real him, and we all know that he said, even in AEW, I will never go heel. So he's like dug into this. This is who I appease, who I please. This is how I address. This is how nothing will change it. And then it made me think, remember all those years that we didn't like Roman Reigns because Roman Reigns was being pushed down our throats as this baby face.
Yep.
And my beef is not against Cody as a wrestler. He's a great wrestler.
Really
great
is.
Fucking wrestler.
He really is.
He really is. He's a great fucking wrestler. Dude, the crossroads he did on Chad Gable last night.
Yep.
One, he hit it fucking amazingly. And
Chad sold it like a masterpiece.
Well. Yeah, so well.
Yeah.
I'm glad we both saw that.
Oh yeah, that was one of the few bits I did 100% go back and watch is that. But you're right. But you're right. I mean, he carries himself like a politician. He carries himself like a babyface. I can see that being.
But it makes me like the politician always gets what like they want pretty much. And like that's what he keeps getting too.
Right.
But at what point do you think his ego will ever let him go back and do a heel move?
I mean, this is it. It's
or is he just or do I not like him because he's such a good babyface? He's built into his character because he's that smart in pro wrestling that he's like, the ones who don't like me, I don't want them to like me because I'm going so far to this extreme. Then you're talking about like Pudnitz on the far left.
Then it gets super meta and all that type of shit. I don't think it's actually that complex. I think Cody said he was never going to go heel in AEW. I don't think Cody ever intended for him to not go heel ever again in his career. I 100% think the move after a 6-month Cody title run, if he beats Roman, when he beats Roman, let's just say, I think it will get stale. I think his shtick, and I think that they can play on those exact emotions that you're talking about, almost the untrustworthy politician type scenario, kind of gets everything that he, kind of wants in the end. I mean, yeah, he had to fight. He had to do a lot to get there, right? To get to that main event scene. So there's a real thing that actually makes him kind of a babyface in that regard. But he plays an incredible heel. And I think that he was really on the cusp before. Like, if he would have re-signed with AEW, he would have had to have turned heel.
Remember how loud everyone was doing?
I was there booing him. Like,
I was there next to you.
Yeah, booing him. Yeah, I was pissed. We all hated him for a period.
That was
happening.
I mean, there was a lot of hate.
It was real, like heat, right? So that I think is inevitable to happen in WWE as well.
Do you think that then? And I guess I'm still have that like little bit of like hate burning for him deep inside me with that, because if you'll remember in AEW when everyone was like, you book yourself to do whatever, you're winning, blah, blah. He's getting the same fucking treatment in WWE. He's getting the exact same treatment.
But it won't last. But it won't last that long. He knows this is the run, right? This is a 2-year, 3-year thing where he can be on top. And he can be a major player, make his name, and then, make his money, make his fame, do everything he needs to do. And then he can either retire or do whatever he wants to do, right? The logical thing, though, is that the storyline's already in place for a heel Cody turn and Seth Rollins, the next big baby face, to take it off Cody because they have the story. Cody's had Seth's number. Seth has been increasingly becoming more popular, even with his ridiculous gimmick. Roman's going away for a while. He will be on select dates as an attraction appearance. Seth is that next guy that is the biggest babyface that you can tell a story to take it off of Cody. You can argue that Sami Zayn might be that guy too. I'm not going to disagree with that. I think you can go both ways. But Sami's beef isn't with Cody. It's with Roman. Seth's beef is with Cody. Seth also has beef with Roman. But, like, I think a Cody heel Seth thing, or Seth face thing, absolutely works down the road. That's probably where I would go. But we're still a long way off, and I'm not even convinced that Cody is winning the championship at Mania. He will win it this year. He will either win it at Mania or SummerSlam, but I'm not convinced it's at Mania.
Yeah, I'm not convinced either. Yeah, it is interesting. Side note that what you said though, the weirder and crazier Seth Rollins goes, the more we all love him.
He's great now. I mean, he's gone through some awful periods where he was another one trying to be forced down our throats as a babyface. Yep. Didn't like him. Actually, wasn't even really working as a heel. Now he's dialed into whatever weird version of his character he's got.
Yeah,
and it's working gangbusters.
It really is.
Seth is a face now. We have to just say that. Seth is a face now, like definitively. He wouldn't be up against this version of Logan Paul and The Miz, if he wasn't. Speaking of which, Miz was announced as the host of WrestleMania 39, and I'm a little bummed. Like, I know he's going to do a good job, and it's an LA thing that they can play up with The Miz's character, right? So, but it should have been LA Knight.
All right, I'm glad we came back to LA Knight because
it should have been LA Knight.
I almost went with, I almost kind of turned us there, and I'm glad you took us down the Cody road, and I got to get that off my chest because I did. Yeah. Like, yeah. But he has this. Where was I going with that? Oh yeah. So I was gonna say thank you for letting me get that Cody thing off my chest.
No, of course, and I'm not saying you're wrong by any means.
Well, it's
with
just an opinion.
Either.
It's my opinion. It's everyone's entitled to their own opinion. It's just it finally clicked with me like as I was thinking about all of it, and I was like, I think this is why I don't like him, right? So, but the LA. Do you
think? Thing, okay, can I ask before we know? But we'll go back to LA Knight in 2 seconds. One more thing with Cody. If he were to turn heel, do you think you have the capability to like him as a heel? Or would you still hold that same thing against him, I guess?
I think I have the capability to like him as a heel. Yeah. I would need to see how he did it. But yeah.
It's going to be interesting because he has to toe the line of good heat, and I don't like the term X-Pac heat because I don't think it's a real term. Like I think it's an overblown term is what I'm trying to say. Who had actual real heat that would go away. We'll call it just go away heat, right? Like,
yeah,
he might get so annoying or so like, I hate this motherfucker. He might be too good at being a heel that he gets go away heat. And I think, yes, that's the line he has to toe.
Yeah, that is the line he has to toe. That's a good point. To the LA Knight point.
LA Knight, yes.
We were talking about Bray and I almost went down this road. So I'm glad we came back to this fork here. But, yeah, I thought that he lost a little bit of shine because of the Bray thing. I do like that they just basically haven't said a word about it and have kind of moved on. I do like that. I think when he announced, LA, for WrestleMania, we're going to have some LA. What did he call it? Do you remember the term?
No, I can't remember. I can't remember the phrase.
But he's like, we're going to have LA moment. It's not a WrestleMania moment. It's an LA moment is what he was saying.
Right.
And he said, we got to have an LA moment, And I was like, oh, I thought maybe he was going to be the host, to your point, right?
I think it would have worked great.
I think it would have worked great too. So we didn't get that.
But casual audiences have no clue who that guy is. People know the Miz. People do know the Miz. So true. From a business standpoint, I see what they're doing. I still think LA Knight gets involved in that. I think he will have a WrestleMania moment of some description. He's going
to have an LA moment.
He's going to have an LA
WrestleMania
moment.
is going to have an LA moment.
Yes, WrestleMania. That's what he said.
That's what he said. Yeah.
That's and I love that. So
yeah. So I will say,
I feel like he's almost Teflon. He can lose. Like, it's just something about his character. I think he's good. I think he's fine. Like,
well,
I don't ever see it. He's never going to be a main eventer, right? So it doesn't matter. If as long as we can keep him as kind of like straight mid card.
Yeah.
It's what he's meant to be.
He's fun. He's good.
He's good. He can do amazing character stuff. You can throw him in a tag team if Bobby Roode ever comes back. They would be great together for some reason. Like there's things you can do with LA Knight. He's malleable. And again, by all accounts, that guy seems like a really good dude.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. He does. I will say so the New Day came out and he had a match with Kofi Kingston last night, which I'd like to ask you about the New Day in a second, but they made fun of his jacket that he's wearing, his vest. Oh, his vest looked awesome on him.
Yeah, it's fucking cool.
Oh, like badass vest.
Like, what are you talking about?
Come on, New Day, why are you talking shit?
Shit, look at what you wear, you dickheads.
Yeah, you wear elf boots and
shit. Come on.
But so New Day.
And they dropped the tag titles in NXT, right? Or do they still have them? I don't know.
They've never worn them on the main roster, have they?
No. And that's a problem too. They should do that. You know what they should do, because I'm done with it. They should be done with New Day. You want to split the New Day?
Yeah, there's no reason to have them. They wrestle as singles. I mean,
no.
Here and there, they're not going to do anything more. Like, they don't need to be. I just don't know. It's just so boring. I mean, do they have the same like sales merch and all that shit that they had with the kids and the appeal? Like, if you go down to NXT and you have those titles, and
they probably do. They probably do, man. And we've seen it. Like, Big E is at least good enough to do a dance and come out to the ring. He might not be wrestling for a while, but like that, the kids love Big E and all that. So I don't know. They're not getting...
I know, but this is your chance if he ever did want to come back and could.
Well, New Day can all do their own thing, but they don't have to split. They never have to split them.
It just doesn't. I just don't.
They need direction. They need to do something. Yeah. What are we gonna do? Fucking New Day and Usos again? Like, that's not, please. Let's not do that. But I don't know.
Well, it's again, and I guess last time I was talking about this, it was just kind of like, I kept saying, like, what's that motivation? New Day has done so much. There is no ever going to be any motivation for them ever at all, ever, for me, that they could write in that is going to be captivating and I'm going to care about storyline wise, because they're just going to be silly. Xavier is going to have a fucking trombone and do fucking drive-bys, like he did to LA Knight last night. Like, I guess that's for the kids.
It's all they need. It's all they need to be, though. Like, they don't, like, I mean, they can win the tag champs again one day in a few years if they're still together and still healthy enough to do it. That's fine. But yeah, they don't need to be in the title scene. They don't need to be. They can just float around the mid-card. They can do things. They can have inconsequential feuds. They would be great to feud somehow with, like, the Judgment Day or something, right? So the Judgment Day, some up-and-coming stable or something like that can, use the New Day to sort of elevate new talent. That's what I'm trying to put out there. That's why they're there. they can absorb losses like nothing else. They'll still be popular. They'll still sell merch and they'll still have their place. That's why you keep the New Day together. Also, of course, yes, they did drop the NXT tag champs to Gallus, Mark Coffey and Wolfgang. So that I forgot when. Yeah, that was February 4th. So not that long ago. Earlier this month. I did not catch that. I did not watch any of that feud or that New Day NXT run, if I'm being quite frank. And then another reason that you keep them around is later on in the year, they've announced there's going to be 2 pay-per-views in May. We're going to get a WrestleMania Backlash, which I still always hate that name. It's stupid. Yeah. Because, like, okay,
they
whatever.
They just kept it Backlash.
Right. And then later in the same month, they're going to be doing the King and Queen of the Ring.
I bet that one's in Saudi.
And I hope not. Because it would be. It'll
supposed to be an event. There's supposed to be an event in Saudi in March.
Fuck, you're probably right, and that's a shame because I was excited that because they've tried to bring the King of the Ring back like a couple these last few years.
King Corbin.
Yeah, and they've done it, but they've done it on TV. They haven't done it as a pay-per-view. It's not been. I want it to be the old school. You compete on TV to qualify, and then like a couple of guys have to do 3 matches in a night, and you get to see a progression, a storyline in one night. That's what it was with Bret Hart. That's what it was with Stone Cold. These like amazing nights of a tournament on the night. That would be fantastic. You know, and you would do it with the quarterfinals, right? Probably semis. That's probably what you would do. You do semis, main events, so each of them wrestle twice. That's men's and women's, and there you go. There's 4 matches right there. You know, that's more than that, right? 6 matches right there. So like, there's your card. You know, but I just feel like that would be so much more interesting to bring back. And why I tie it in with of course, you know, the New Day is Xavier was King Xavier, and that was his big thing for a while, is he wanted to win the King of the Ring. And but he did it on TV, and it was really, you know, undersold, underutilized to him, like for him to actually win it in a real tournament like that, to really justify the King Xavier thing and bring that back, I'd be fine with that. I mean, there's plenty of other guys though that you'd probably want to do. But you have him go to the finals or something. Like you'd have him or in the semis. You'd have him, you know, try to get there because there is at least some justification for him.
There's some motive. I agree with that. There is some motive.
You know, maybe he doesn't win it, but that's how you then use that to elevate a new star. The King of the Ring should be that should be like a Pete Dunne, right? Like, I'm King Dunne. Like, imagine that. Like, you know, him with his I'm the king, you know, with his brummy ass accent.
Yeah, King Dunne kind of sounds like Kingdom too.
Oh, you don't like it?
Kingdom of King Dunne. No, I like it.
Oh, well, what's his?
I do like it.
I mean,
here, instead of doing fantasy booking, can I do nightmare booking for a second? Nightmare booking is they have the King and Queen of the Ring event in Saudi Arabia, and eventually the main event is the Saudi Prince versus Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon lays down and gives him the keys to the company.
Yeah.
And then the bunch of wrestlers get out so the Prince can live out his dream of being the King of the Ring. So he gets to take some shots at Brock. He gets to take a shot at Roman.
And they all take him. Oh, he throws them all out of the ring.
And then he's like, now I also kind of technically own you. Independent contractors.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, you're also never leaving Saudi Arabia or this arena.
Okay, yeah, you live here now.
You will die. You will die here.
Which one of you is Yokozuna? Where's Yokozuna? Who's Yokozuna tomorrow? I know you're not really Yokozuna. I know he died.
But
it's
you
fine.
will be.
But
tomorrow.
You're gonna be tomorrow. Brock Lesnar comes out in the thing. He's just like,
oh, dude. And by the 3rd day, the Prince is like befriended Tony Khan, and Tony Khan and the Prince are like doing coke and having all the wrestlers do the 1-man matches. Tony's like, let me get you into this, man.
I'm kind of bummed that Drew and Gunther's the match, it seems like, for Mania.
Yeah.
I
I'm
really
bummed
wanted
about
it
that.
to. I mean, again, Brock and Gunther would have been rad, and I feel like that's still gonna turn into a triple threat with Sheamus, and
Yeah, I think so too.
and I think that's what, like, if it is, the belt changes hands and Sheamus wins it.
I hope he does. Sheamus, I want
Then
Sheamus
it
to have
because
that.
it would be the Grand Slam at WrestleMania. It's
Yeah.
Tripp's boy too. Like, we all know that. So I don't know. I'm just kind of seeing, the breakup of the Brawling Brutes or Drew, and then it all falls into that, and
Bang Bros?
the Bang Bros. Yeah, the Bang Bros. Who else could you see winning a King of the Ring though right now? Like, who's an upcoming guy, right? Like, it'd be great if it was even someone from, like, that, if they used that as a tool to elevate someone from NXT that went through the ranks, like a Carmelo Hayes or something like that, like, because he's really impressive. Someone that they would bring up a notch. But then again, you've got also a lot of great, I would say Montez Ford would be a great King of the Ring winner. Like, to elevate him to a single star and, like, giving him maybe a lower upper card bump, if that makes sense. Like, he's getting to that next level. I could see him being really good. I could just see him with a crown and dancing with with a not a saber. What do you call it? The fucking
Like the cane thing?
the baton thing. I don't know.
It's like a baton.
The staff,
cane.
whatever. The staff baton.
What is
It's
that?
not. It's got a name.
The crown and a.
What does a king hold?
Is this a riddle?
I don't know.
I'm typing that into Google.
Yeah, what?
Someone right now is like yelling at us as they're listening. They're like, "It's called a fucking sapphire sphere or something."
What does a king hold? Here we go. In his hand.
Oh, that's what I got you. A rod?
Scepter. A scepter. That's what it is. A scepter. That's what we were looking for. A scepter. Because they called it that in WWE. Remember? They would call it a scepter because they'd give one to everyone. Like, I remember Owen Hart used to use it a lot.
Yeah.
Brett was too good for it, but yeah. I got another a terrible nightmare booking idea for you. I got one. I mean, you had a terrible nightmare booking idea.
Mine got pretty hellish pretty quick too.
So I heard that Vickie Guerrero is leaving AEW on mutual terms. I feel like they're gonna bring her into the Judgment Day.
No.
If Vince McMahon was booking shit right now, it would be exactly what he would be doing, and he'd ruin all the Dom Rhea stuff by throwing Vickie in there. He'd ruin every bit of momentum that the Judgment Day had been getting with Finn and, like, the development there, and goddamn Damian Priest as well. Like,
he would somehow, like, she would be the real mommy. And fuck around with Dom and, like,
but she'd be
Ripley.
she would actually be banging both Finn and Damian,
and
like,
turn them against each other.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's that's it. That we just wrote that. Whew. Go ahead.
I will say this when it comes to sorry, fuck, I just had this up. I lost it. Sorry. I lost it. I had a thought. I had it my notes up, and you were on something, and it, like, clicked right in, and it may come back up in a second. So
Judgment Day. I mean, we were talking about Judgment Day, all that.
Well, I will say this is one of the things, actually. This isn't what I was gonna say, but it is something I wanted to say, and I alluded to it earlier when I talked about the storylines where some things don't click. We kind of joked about it last week or the week before with, like, Ray and Dom, because there was that whole thing at Royal Rumble. We talked about that, where, like, they never really talked about what happened. It was inferred with Dominic coming out after Ray with the mask. But then on that Monday, they had that weird NASCAR thing where they, like, met, like, on the track and had a race.
Yep.
And then didn't talk about what happened at Rumble. And now, I mean, I guess I kind of like that Santos Escobar is kind of hopefully going to get elevated a little or something.
He'd be another one. Great King of the Ring right there.
Yeah,
great King of the Ring.
But beyond that, like, it's just like they've been dragging that story out for so long. We still have a few more weeks. We know what's going to happen. It's not going to change. They're going to have a match at Mania. And I think and I don't know if it's I don't know if my critique is on the storytelling as much as maybe like it's just the season of WrestleMania where we kind of know what's happening. So like you have to drag things out. And this leads me to some of this bloodline stuff.
And Mania does have to be somewhat predictable, I think, too, because of just what it is and the eyes that it gets. Like it can, of course, give you one or two surprise wins, shock, belt change or whatever. But Mania is always going to be of all the pay-per-views, they're going to play it safe, right? That's the thing with Mania for the most part.
Make the crowd go home happy.
Exactly. That's why I still think the odds favorite has to be Cody to win against Roman. And when it comes to the bloodline stuff, it's
just, I guess, what's not believable for me in that storyline. And it's because I've heard so many times Cody talk about his dad. That storyline and that motive seems, and I know it's the one title and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I get it. But
it needs to be more about him.
Well, it needs to be about him. And like, that's why the Sammy thing worked so well, because he's so ingrained in that storyline to like have a turn and have like him be like, I'm not stepping that over that line, and now I'm gonna try and take down the bloodline. Like it's just much more interesting story-wise because it actually involves Roman and breaking Roman. Because Cody, like, sure, he could beat him. That doesn't seem like I'm breaking Roman because the two storylines don't intersect. Cody's storyline doesn't intersect with the bloodline storyline, except for the fact that Roman Reigns has the titles.
Yep.
He would go after anyone who had the title.
Yeah, I feel like somehow Sammy's involved in the finish of that main event. I'm not ruling it out.
So they are doing a great job. I will say, still with the bloodline stuff.
I saw in some of the notes that we were kind of passing around that I didn't get a chance to see much of the stuff with the bloodline this past week, and you said you liked how you're getting to see more of Jimmy, how he was. I didn't get to see really any of that. Can you fill me in on that?
Yeah, so my perspective on it is we've seen this Jay Sammy thing for so long, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're seeing like
Jay hated it. Well, Jimmy was always the one that liked him, and then Jay was reluctant, and then finally was the real big ally when they finally had that moment.
Yeah, exactly. And
but then Jimmy was the first one to instantly super kick Sammy when he hit him with a chair.
Sammy brought up in this promo, right?
Yeah.
And he said, he said, you always had my back. And so we're now getting another storyline, now you're either sympathetic or at least bought into this other character even more, because that character is Jimmy's kind of been on he's been wrestling and he shows up as been trying to get in touch with my brother that.
Yeah, which also kind of doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. And I had that in my notes and that's my beef with this storyline is that he didn't hear from him for a month after Rumble, right?
Yeah.
And then
he showed up at Chamber.
Then he showed up and then he's yelling in the ring. Jay's like, I got you, bro.
Yeah.
Got you. And they're dapping and shit. And then so what? After that, they haven't not talked. And now they just pulled on Friday again. He's like, hey man, are you coming? I can't get a hold of you. And he's doing the calling thing. And I'm like, dude, what what the fuck, right? But I think what we're getting is, and now this is where the storyline changes. When Sammy said, like, you were the one who always had my back.
Yep.
There was no Usi without you, without Jimmy. You helped.
Yeah, because he was the first one that laughed at it and kind of made it a thing.
Yeah, and he's like, this whole thing, he was like, none of it happens without you. And he's like, and yet you were the first one to fucking kick me. And then now we get this other part of the story where Jimmy's like, no, that's what fucking family does, like family
will put you in
family
check.
Runs deep, and family will put you in check when we need to put you in check without even fucking thinking about it. That's what loyalty is. That's what family is. That's what all of this is. And that's what you have proven you're not, right?
So all of a sudden, is Jimmy the good guy, and like, is Jay the bad guy in the Usos? You're kind of.
Then you get Sammy with the amazing line. Oh, so family is someone who makes you prove your love to them every single week, who makes you go through things and do things for them to prove how much you love them.
Talking
is that
of
really
Roman,
what family
of course,
does?
right?
Yeah, like, he's going to make you do this, ask you to do that, like, to prove your loyalty and love. And he's like, that's not what family is, And so they are doing a good job at continuing to deepen this.
I think it's their only option, because it's still a while to keep all of those guys separate outside of a ring until Mania, right? Like, for it to really blow off, like, to tell on, you got,
as of last night, it was 34 days till Mania or something.
Like, it's still a while to keep that story going, to keep it relevant, and
to keep it hot.
And it's not like there's another, like, random pay-per-view where Sami Zayn's dropping off the face of the earth. He's not going to be a big deal when Mania comes around. Like, the whole Bloodline story will be the story of Mania. Combined.
But they do for the next, like, 4 weeks or whatever it is, have to do something, because what's happening is now the past couple of weeks, Sammy's just coming in from the crowd on both shows. He's showing up at Raw, showing up at SmackDown. I mean, KO did show up this week. He showed up on Raw.
Yep.
Yeah. So you do have that. So
do you think it's still the plan? Do you think it's still the plan? That it's still KO, Sammy, Usos?
Right?
It's gotta be.
That's what has to happen over these next couple of weeks,
right? It does. That's what
this time is for. I think
that's what this time is for.
I don't know what you do with Solo.
I was gonna. Well, I would wonder if that plays into it, because have KO and Solo had a match?
I don't think so.
Because that
would be a great match.
Because that would be a great match, number one. But I think it could help further the dynamic of things and how it kind of shapes it. And it's not necessarily like, even like, I almost want to see the Usos help reunite Sammy with KO. I know this sounds weird, but it's like they're almost returning a puppy to its original owners. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah.
Okay. And they love the puppy. They don't like the original owners, but they know that the puppy needs to be with the original owners. And like, in wrestling terms as well, they also have enough respect for Sammy to want to settle it in the ring.
Yeah.
And so they almost make it work between them. And I think that, I don't know, it might be a real hard stretch. That'd be hard to write, but there's something there that needs, like, it to me, I still feel it's going to be difficult. It needs to be excellently written how they get Sammy and KO back on the same team, same page. That's the hardest part. And that's why I'm saying, like, it's something so bizarre as the Usos, even mutually, or one of them, maybe it is Jimmy, maybe, I think it'd probably be Jimmy at this point, based on this last promo, helping Sammy understand that, or no, maybe it's Jay, maybe Jay being manipulative. You weren't part of this family, but this guy was with you, and he's like, he pushes him off to the side to be, somehow finds a way to connect them again. It's a stretch. I'm not trying to pretend it isn't, but
Well, I will say I did like.
I'm intrigued still. I'm still intrigued, and that's good. I find myself a little less intrigued than I was last week, and that's why I think it's like slightly worrying because they still have
so long.
It's a long time to go, you know.
So and then we have. I will say I did like when KO did come in out of the crowd this week. When he went, so he super kicked Solo, I think, and then he went to stun Jay. He gave him the double birds like Stone Cold before he kicked him.
Yes,
which I thought was great. But we do get from, and it goes back to what you were talking about earlier with kind of does Cody go to SmackDown and this, that, and the other. But I mean, Cody did say after his match this week, he did say, well, we have this many days till WrestleMania, 34 days, which is how I know 34 days, I think.
Yep, he said it. Yeah.
33 today, but he said, and I have yet to be in the same ring as my opponent. And he said, so Roman Reigns will be at SmackDown on Friday. He said, well, guess what? So will I. So
they're gonna do a face-to-face in the ring promo battle type scenario, and I think that will be interesting. That'll
draw numbers.
It will draw numbers. It will make me want to tune in. I will unfortunately be I will be in town for that. But next week I'll be out of town. But yeah, no, that's something that, I mean, I can't wait to see. Can't wait to see like the actual chemistry, because it's sort of we're almost dealing with like a hypothetical up until this point. So until we see it, I don't see how it can fail, to be quite frank. Like, it's going to be great. It's just what sort of promo and what sort of direction, how much they amplify it. It's, do they go, and it will close the show, and it will be, definitely be worth watching on Friday on SmackDown. Let's take a little break, if you don't mind.
I don't mind at all. I do want to say real quick before we get out of here.
Yeah.
Still not a fan of Karrion Kross. I don't like the whole black and white entrance with Scarlett, and then she's like singing the lyrics. Then
none of it's working for me.
None of it's
working for me
whatsoever.
No.
So I mean, I'm sorry, Karrion Kross. It just doesn't. I will say that I thought that Otis looked like Arn Anderson for a second out of the corner of my eye,
Arn was never that fat, though.
He wasn't, but like if it was just out of the corner of your eye, moving around the kitchen, and you look at it, I was like, oh, what the fuck, right? But did you see? I didn't see this until today, like on Twitter or something, that they did some like Looney Tunes moment, Cody and Otis. It was kind of funny. Like,
no, I don't think I saw that.
So like Otis is like in the crowd, like looking, and then like Cody comes up next to him in the middle of the match, like, and he's
wow.
Like, they're like off, so like Otis is ringside, and he's like looking in the crowd, like waving at this girl, like, and Cody's like, oh yeah, that one. He's like, and Otis is like, did you see her? Hey babe, hey beautiful, like, or something like that. And it's like this whole Looney Tunes thing, where then he turns around and he does this like triple take, and he's like, it's Cody, and like Cody then like throws him over the thing.
Dude, I haven't seen that. I have to check that out.
It was kind of funny.
Yeah, that's the sort of stuff I love. Because I love that stuff at like house shows and whatnot, where they get to play a little bit, right? And like, and they do that. The good ones will play that, do that stuff on break. They'll It might not translate on TV. It might not be appropriate necessarily for TV just because of a storyline or whatever. But you sort of, I'm not going to say you break kayfabe, you tweak kayfabe for a minute and a half, and you have a little bit of a fun, like a play, and then you go back to whatever you were doing, right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
And that's, some of that stuff. I mean, it's fucking pro wrestling, right? That's why we love it. It is pro
wrestling. Well, I'm excited to talk about when we get here, because I know we're going to do some AEW, and we're going to talk about Revolution.
Absolutely, and it doesn't mean that we can't still throw out more stuff about WWE in the second segment, as well. But we will talk about the crossover of. I mean, I'm pretty sure
Kenny Omega is WWE confirmed, and
Oh, yeah.
I think he's going to be the special guest referee in the Roman Reigns Cody Rhodes match.
And King of the Ring, and
and
they're probably going to invent a new championship for him, and they will introduce AAA trios championships.
Yep.
That will happen.
And he's gonna win all the belts in NXT, even the women's belts.
He will take Shawn Michaels' job at NXT. He will,
he's done.
It's it.
He was on Renee's podcast today.
Yeah.
Says he doesn't have any goals, ambitions. Pretty much.
He's definitely done with the game. He's definitely.
Yeah, he might as well just go to WWE and do the thing he hasn't done, the Cody Rhodes story.
You have listened to the interview, then? I'm not completely.
I didn't listen to it, but I read an article that had the bullet points by paragraph, so I did. But I do know.
When we get back, we'll definitely talk some AEW. We will talk some Kenny Omega. We will talk about how he's been doing the media rounds, and of course the speculation that WWE thinks that Kenny Omega might even be interested in signing with their company. A lot to, of course, delve into there. And of course, like our my esteemed, colleague here just said, we will be doing some predictions and talking a little bit about Revolution when we return. I don't like this track. No, don't like that one either. That is it. Don't like it. Don't like it. I want my funky stuff. I want my.
Yeah, why you?
I don't know why I clicked on the wrong playlist, my friend. There we go. I will play some funky stuff. We'll play some funky stuff while we go on break. It's like it's too late for this goddamn aggressive dance music, whatever I've got over there. Here, we'll play some funky stuff. We'll be back in about 10 minutes or so if you're watching on the Twitch. Hey, good news. If you're listening on the podcast, you don't really need to wait around at all, because I'm going to edit this in post and it'll fade out and it'll come right back with your second segment. 407-906-6466 if you ever want to call in or leave a voicemail. No one ever does that. And of course, what do we say when we get out of here for the first of these two segments of Oh No Wrestling?
We give him a little woo.
Woo! Yes, that's right. Second segment of the Uno Wrestling Podcast. I found this out this week that MJF's theme music is based on, a YouTube audio library free music thing. I didn't know this.
Awesome! I had no idea until you told me.
So awesome. I could do this all day long. I could they can't get me. You can't get me, MJF.
Reuse. Yeah, you can't get me.
And I just think it's hilarious, by the way, because of his character and all the money. He's all about money and all this stuff. This motherfucker,
man,
that's
how you make money. You
royalty free, theme song.
Yeah, John Moxley's not making as much money because
he's got Wild
Thing.
Yeah.
Orange Cassidy that's why Orange Cassidy even switched, because it was cheaper for him to not have the Pixies one to go back to
Jane and all that. Yeah. I don't know. I just thought it was hilarious. I'm like, oh, that's why there's a million remixes of MJF's theme.
I never thought of that.
And yeah, someone pointed it out online, and I just thought it was funny to use that as our rejoin. But it also kind of ties into what we probably should be talking about in this, sort of second half of the Uno Wrestling Podcast, and it's more of the AEW talk that's been going on. Let's just start with some of this Kenny Omega shit, man. If we're being honest, like, it needs to be addressed with us, and the rumors are only increasing that WWE is not only interested, but that Kenny Omega is seemingly maybe open to offers. And on top of that, Kenny Omega, who is usually I would say a pretty reserved private individual, he's been doing a lot of interviews lately. Now, one could argue that's just to promote Revolution, right? A pay-per-view that's coming up that it will be, we talked about it last week, that we've been slightly underwhelmed with. Maybe he's trying to bang the drum as an EVP, as he is his title at AEW. Maybe he's trying to get, some more interest going by doing some interviews or what have you. That's fine. Or he's playing the Randy Orton game, right? And it feels like the Randy Orton game to me.
It feels like the Randy Orton game. Yeah, I'm glad you said that.
Okay, so we know what we're talking about when we say the Randy Orton game, but can you enlighten our audience? Because I don't know if I can put it into words, quite frankly. It's more or less, I know that he was teasing in, it probably was 2020 or 2021 when his contract was coming up.
It's like...
He started getting real talky and
it's
tweeting
a
lot about...
Yeah, so it's kind of a way to... Which is what Randy did, which is get yourself out there and build that interest again, even if you've made your decision. So when that decision happens, you're back at kind of the pecking order and people have been paying attention, right?
Yeah.
Because it is true that Kenny Omega, which, I mean, I guess people have heard of him by now. For a long time they had not heard of him.
There was a period there. There was a period there.
And but it's he did the belt collector thing, and then it was kind of like, well, what else is there except for the trios thing? Then with the Brawl Out, that kind of got pushed, and he had to have all those surgeries and things, and I think that put things in perspective. He said in multiple interviews and such, like, takes me longer to recover. I'm not that kid anymore. I have to be smarter about these things, and I will still go and do it, and he's like, but I don't recover as quickly as I used to. And I'm learning that. And, I think that it is a way for right now, it is kind of, what are they doing? I mean, they do have the trios. They did have those 7 bangers of match. They defended them a few times.
I think more of the question, matches. I think more of the question is what's left for Kenny Omega to do in not only AEW, but the industry. Because I don't think he looks at it just like AEW. He wants what's best for the company, of course. But I think Kenny must see like we all see, that there's only kind of one last thing that he can do, and that's
the Cody Rhodes story.
The Kenny Omega Cody Rhodes story, right? Like, I mean, he can play a part in that, and to be, I think for a lot of people, right, it's headlining WrestleMania, or it's getting the WWE Championship, whatever, like, they deem as that. But it's still, for a lot of people, if you haven't done that in WWE, you haven't quite reached the pinnacle. And I think Kenny Omega might be one of those people. I think that might be, I can see, like,
there is probably a bit in him that is like, I have done everything. People call me the god of pro wrestling, all this stuff. But for him, let's put it in like video game terminology, because that's what he's into.
That's what he thinks. That's how he thinks.
He has beaten every game except that one.
Yeah.
And he hasn't even gotten to play. Well, he played that game. He went and did, like, years ago. He went into a little bit of developmental.
He played the tutorial.
Yeah, he played the tutorial, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he played the what's the AEW game called?
Fight Forever.
Yeah, he played that as a tester, and then it never got released. They've been teasing that for, like, I'm not a gamer,
coming.
but they've been...
It's coming. It will happen.
But how long have they been and they're like, it won 2022's best video game ever made. And I'm like, has anyone played it?
Yeah.
Like,
apart from these nerds at, like, Comic-Cons or whatever that got the chance to sit down with it for 10 minutes, like, until it broke. Or not even sit
down with it. They got shown a video of it,
I think there are people that have said that they played it, but
I'm sure there are. But I am saying it has gone on ungodly long time. If I were a gamer and I had pre-ordered that like 15 months ago,
I'd be mad as fuck. I'd be mad as hell. Yeah. Like,
so with inflation, I better have paid way less.
Sure.
But it is that video game mentality of that is one level, and he may not think of it as the highest level because of the things that he's done, but he respects it. And I think it may be like, this is the bonus round, or this is the ultimate boss, or to get over on everyone on that stage or something, like, I think that is kind of the way he maybe looks at it. And like, he would be fine with his career and everything he's done, and everyone would still applaud him and laud him as one of the greatest ever to do it, and they would be correct. But to him, I think there would be a little bit personal chip on his shoulder for himself that says, you never, like, because he's like, I think he would look at himself the way he thinks that other people might be like, oh, you didn't think you could do it.
I think there's a lot of, he doesn't like to leave stones unturned. There's a what if factor, right? I think that plays into it. He doesn't want to leave the industry and retire without, what if Kenny Omega, when he could really still go, was wrestling Roman Reigns or whoever, right? Like, or Cody or whoever, right? In WWE at WrestleMania, the what ifs that with all of that. So I think that must play into his psyche. I know he knows that he's only got so much time left, but he is, after listening to some of the stuff with, Renee, the way he looks at wrestling is definitely different than most. And I really enjoyed what he had to kind of say about, lack of the better term, the sums of the parts. He's like, you can think of like this match being greater, and me, or even you think of me as like the best professional wrestler to ever live. And he's like, I'm not saying I am, but I'm just like, you think it, like some people would think of that. And it's not just me though. It's my opponent. It's the crowd. It's the ref. It's every sum of its parts. And part of that plays into it. I believe just a little bit as well, because he wants to make some of the parts the biggest, the grandest stage of them all, those types of things. So I can, like, there's a lot of subtext to what he's saying. He's certainly not saying he's not open to go to WWE, but he's not saying anything specifically that he is. He's keeping it, he's smart, and he's definitely he's humble enough. Another thing he said was, I'm sure you read this from the interview, where, again, if people consider me like the greatest professional wrestler to ever live, well, whether or not I believe that doesn't matter. Someone else does. So now I have a responsibility to fulfill what they think of me. Like, that's more or less what he's saying, is that some people want him to be noted as the best to ever do it. And the only way that you really get that recognition worldwide is if you do it in the WWE, no matter how you look at it, man. It's the biggest wrestling organization that's ever existed. And again, the what if factor never did it there, right? Like, I can see that from a guy that is so highly motivated as an athlete and in this business and in this sport. I can see that being a thing that would bother him if he didn't at least entertain the idea or offer.
All right. You know what I've just sold myself on, which will never happen, but I've just sold myself on because of how you told that story. Because that is it. And that's the emotion. It evokes that. That's the, God, I've been saying it for weeks and now I can't fucking come up with the term. It's the motive. It's his motive. Yeah, that's the motive. But it's all right. Now, let's say, can he go on a tear, get the AEW title again?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He's got the IWGP.
The United States Championship.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, it is the U.S. All right.
Which is the best looking belt they have in their company right now.
Really
Goddamn,
is.
Get it together.
The other one looks like a Divas title.
They're awful. The new the new IWGP
like
titles are shit. Like, the old ones were so much better, but yes, like the United States one is actually that's a pretty class looking belt.
It is pretty good. But let's just say he has the AEW title.
Mm-hmm.
Cody has the WWE title.
Oh my god! And this is where we do the cross.
That's how you do
the real
crossover, because
the
Cody
real forbidden door.
Because Cody could never challenge for the AEW title while he was in AEW, as you pointed out earlier on this podcast.
Yeah,
that was the caveat. But if he's that, and then Kenny's never had that, that might be the final boss that Kenny needs to fucking fight.
Yeah.
And it's the final.
No, that's the final. No, that's the final boss for Cody to ever fight. Is what it is, not Kenny.
Well,
I'd look at it.
I was talking about a video game term.
Yeah. Okay.
For Kenny, but then I was saying, and I was about to say, and it's also Cody's
your way
chance
makes
to
more
get the
sense,
one,
actually.
And it gets Cody the one belt that he can't ever get.
I mean, there is something there to that. Maybe, I mean, I don't know. That seems like too dream world, too fantasy to even, think about. But
it really is.
I would,
but
I don't know.
It would be fucking great storytelling, would it not?
But then there's the story to be told, even like for Kenny to be able to
Who wins that match?
Well, that's it. I don't know. Like, if it's in WWE, Kenny or Cody wins it. And I still don't think that, I mean, you can't.
You got to do it in some sort of jailhouse street fight match.
Yeah.
Sense.
Or our patented Tope Suicida contest. Like
that was a good one.
Yeah. We need to. Still rather see that than Bray Wyatt and Bobby Lashley. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
Go listen to last week's show if you don't know what we're talking about. We got to know the
Also,
whole
though,
thing about it.
Lashley, we were talking about entrances.
Yeah.
Banger of an entrance.
Oh, it's
man.
fucking bad. Oh, it's
Like
banging.
the lasers.
Oh,
And he stands there like a fucking sculpted.
he looks like $1 million. He's just not being
Yeah.
treated like. I mean, just do the Hurt Business. Do it right. Get them together. Do it right this time. Kick fucking Omos out of there. I don't know. I mean, I guess you can keep him, but then even pull up like you can pull.
Oh,
up.
is that how you get him and Brock back together again? Like because MVP was with Omos. And
It's
now
gonna
you do
yes,
this,
it's something like that the Hurt Business get. Yes, it's something like that. But when it comes to like, I can see like, say Kenny signs with WWE. There's a storyline already with Cody, and like to eventually have Kenny beat Cody in WWE, that would be really really interesting. And then this is how you weasel in Jay White if he's in there, right? Like, I still don't. Yeah,
he doesn't need to be weaseled in anywhere. Fuck it.
Yeah,
like he just doesn't fit in over here right now.
Stay
Unless
in
you
New
put him on Ring of
Japan.
Honor or New Japan over here and like let him do his thing till he gets more. I'm not saying he can't. You and I have talked about how we just don't get.
No, don't.
Him.
He's just not right. Who? Okay, scratch that name. This is how you get Will Ospreay in the mix in the fucking like WWE like that. Now that could work.
Well,
That could work.
yeah. Well, and I think more realistically to bring us back down to
Back
earth
down to
here
earth. Yes.
is that's what we're leaning to, and we probably will have at Forbidden Door, which was leaked, and that it's going to be coming up. I forget where and what date, but it was leaked recently, and I think now confirmed.
And you think it's Kenny Ospreay 2, basically?
I think so. I mean, you just had the Bucks and Aussie Open this past week.
Yeah, no, it makes complete sense. That makes complete sense, and I think they should probably keep swapping that title back and forth for a while. If I'm being honest, like I'm fine with that. That seems like the better option rather than just keeping it. I don't know. That's how you keep it from getting stale. There's been a bunch of random random shit going on in the AEW world, in my opinion. Like I've enjoyed a lot of it, but there's also I'm still on the fence as to whether like this Revolution pay-per-view, and we'll get to the predictions here in a bit, but this pay-per-view is still a little bit like, I don't know, man.
I'm not as excited for this as I thought I would be because it's their first one of the year. They haven't done one since Full Gear in November. It's been a long time, man. And this is not living up to the hype in my mind.
Same. I think that's what it comes down to. Why don't we use the predictions as a jumping off point to talk about some of this stuff? Because I think that probably will help us kind of solidify some of our thoughts on some of these things. And if you didn't know, by the way, I am the predictions champion. Yep. Took that belt, the belt that, unfortunately Duncan, since he hasn't been on the show, he had to relinquish. It was, one of those scenarios. And I won it outright. I won it outright with 5 of 5 straight matches on the Elimination Chamber. I got them all right. 100% accuracy on the last show. So I do go in with the winner's advantage. I will also say that in the future, since Duncan he's just not able to appear on the show as much, it makes it a lot less fun when it's just two people kind of competing for one belt back and forth. We have long thought about this, and we will be kind of reorganizing, I guess you'd say, how we approach the ONW Predictions Championship, and it's going to include all of you listeners should you want to be included.
It's an open challenge.
It's an open challenge. Now, I mean, it could be Matthew that you're defending against. It could be me. But what I'll say, the champion will always have championship advantage. That means, of course, if there is a tie, that the champion will retain. And we're going to be doing it a little bit different. We'll get you the full details later down the road, but you're going to want to be in our Facebook group to kind of understand this, to get the rules, to get where you need to go, because it's probably going to take place in real time off of the show in a Discord chat where we can all make predictions one by one in a round robin style type format. But yeah, check out facebook.com/groups/Ono Wrestling. Of course, make sure to join our Discord as well. Just search for Ono Wrestling or find the link that I'm going to pin that Discord link on the top of our Facebook as well, so everybody has it there. But yeah, we're going to change it so that, you know, man, we're going to have jabronis challenging for our titles coming soon. Like it's going to be a big deal.
Nothing we haven't dealt with before.
No, nothing.
Welcome to the big leagues, little brothers.
Yep, indeed.
Sisters.
Indeed. We've got and we always do this. We, you know, when we try and do the show, we kind of just take a look at the matches that are announced, and usually we just pull them from Wikipedia because that's a pretty good source. But yeah, at the end of the day, we've only got 7 matches announced for Revolution, but that's a good thing, especially considering one of them is, you know, an Iron Man match. Also, like, I imagine the Elite versus House of Black will take quite a bit of time as well. So, you know, you're looking at an hour and 40 minutes with those 2 matches. So they're going to be, I guarantee you, they're going to add like 2 more matches, 3 more matches.
For going long on
It's still going to be a long ass pay-per-view, but at least we've only got 7 to guess right now. Let's go with Elite and House of Black. How you see it going, and on my paper, that's going to be the first one that we roll into. It's probably one of the matches I'm most looking forward to. I'll say that.
It'll be a great match.
I think it's one of the more unpredictable matches on the card that we have so far.
Yeah, I can go either way on this because both sides can lose. Both sides can win. House and Black benefits more if they win because they haven't been like booked that well. I mean, I don't know. I guess I shouldn't say that. They should be a bigger deal than they are, I guess. But they've had some slip-ups. Also, they're very much on the line. If they don't catch it this time, I think of this, it needs to be done. No more House of Black, like anything like that. Like, needs to be done. They all need to go their separate ways. That's my personal opinion. I think the match will be great. I think we'll see some good spots with everyone involved. I am excited to see a little bit of Malachi and Kenny. Even Brody and Kenny. I mean, all of them. Buddy Matthews and Kenny.
Nick Jackson is going to take a crazy bump off Brody King somehow. Brody King is going to do something nuts. In my opinion, because I think that the Trios championships as belts have been a slight flop. Not a full flop, but a slight flop. This is how you reinvigorate them. They were
really hot during that 7 match, though. The 7.
Yeah, matches. but it was 2 teams that went for 7 fucking rounds. Who else is there then, right? You know, like it's.
I know, but I also am not excited about House of Black winning because I don't care about House of Black.
I'm going House of Black. I could have gone second just then, but I'm going
Elite retains then.
You going Elite? All right.
I don't think they need to. I think I mean I should go House of Black, but yeah, I don't know.
Going Elite.
Here's the thing, man. With all this dark shit, Bray, House of Black, other people that are doing it or have done it, maybe other than Undertaker. But like, I just am so over the promos where you're like, we will destroy everyone every time, everywhere.
Yeah.
And you don't. You just fucking don't.
You lose a lot too.
Yeah.
You're not
So
that
like so your creepy shit just doesn't back up.
That's the thing. That's why it worked kind of with the Undertaker when he was doing his because he won all the time. Like, yeah. For me, this is kind of like House of Black kind of has to win. And I think it would do a good job to reinvigorate that trios division. I think you can have more interesting pairings as them as a dominant tag team. It would also free up the Bucks and Kenny to do other storylines. You can see they're going in a direction probably where Hangman might be. He's on the cusp of trying to be friends again. None of that makes sense with the House of Black stuff. So, or rather, if none of that makes sense if they're still trios champions in my mind. That's why it's House of Black. Going with it. All right. Got that first match out of the way. Jamie Hayter versus Saraya versus Ruby Soho in a three-way for the AEW Women's World Championship. Jamie Hayter, of course, being your champion.
Hayter retains.
Oh, I hope so. Man, it would be a mistake if they did anything else.
Ruby's not.
Ruby eats the pin and Jamie retains, right?
Yeah. And Saraya doesn't have to,
And Saraya just has to, put on her Bret Hart jean shorts and get out there, like
jorts.
Yeah. So yeah, we're both hater on that one. It with the history that belt's gone through as well, with like the hot potato wing through Thunder Rosa to Tony Storm.
It's got to stick on Hayter. She's doing a great job, and people are still popping every time her music.
Yeah, she's over enough to warrant it. So like, don't fuck up a good thing. Like, Saraya isn't over, and the gimmick that she's got going on right now is terrible, and we know she clearly can't really go.
Yeah,
Ruby Soho, not over. Her theme song is over. That's it.
Yeah, I might.
That's it.
That also.
That's it. And that's wearing thin. And that's wearing thin as fuck.
It's worn way thin for me.
Yeah.
And Out Come the Wolves was my favorite Rancid album, and she may have ruined that for me. And I'm talking about the
not
whole
her
album.
fault though. That's not her fault as like an individual or whatever, right? Like, or even as a wrestler.
No,
like,
she chose it.
Of course she did, but
I'm entitled to my opinion.
Oh, getting nasty over here, G.
Yeah, I don't like her.
I'm maybe you didn't like I was trying to defend her in the slightest. She's
made me hate one of the best albums that I grew up with.
Yeah, it's a great punk rock album from the 90s. I mean, it's
now
iconic.
Is like one of the best. And there are plenty of great songs, not just Ruby Soho.
You're
There's
correct.
Plenty of better songs.
Yeah.
Fucking Maxwell Murder, the one that starts that off that bass line with Lars at the end, it's like it's fucking great. That whole album's fucking great. But I will say, she puts a fucking stink on it for me. She puts a fucking, you know what kind of stink she puts on it for me?
NXT dumb face stink?
No, she puts a fucking Tony Storm and Saraya green spray paint fart stank on it, which they're still doing.
No reason they should have ever turned Tony Storm heel. Been saying it since it happened. That was a huge mistake. And Tony Storm should be the face in this match. That's what should be happening, in my opinion. This whole AEW guys, ex-WWE guys, all this sort of thing. It's a terrible story. Just stop it. Have Hayter win and be done.
Yep.
Move on from this crap and take Saraya off TV for a while and figure out what the hell you're going to do with her while she's still under a probably pretty lengthy contract. A match that we've been wanting to see just as much as Brock Lesnar and Omos. Goddamn Chris Jericho and Ricky Starks. This program sucks.
So I actually
I'm
had
sorry.
in my notes, I don't know if you saw, but did they fuck up Starks' momentum?
Yeah, they
They
absolutely did.
definitely did.
Well, it's the succubus Chris Jericho once again. He did it. He's done it so many times now. He claims he's putting over the younger guys, and I mean, it happens here and there. But this is what happened with fucking Kingston. Jericho is like a shark that smells blood. Ooh, someone's getting over. I gotta be in a program with him. It's done it with everyone, and this is what happened with Ricky Starks. And he sucked the momentum out, like you just said. You're 100% correct. If Starks doesn't win this, there's a bigger problem at hand. Starks has to win this, but I don't necessarily have faith that Starks is.
I don't think he's going to, because he's already beaten him twice.
I'm going Starks. I have to, just for sanity. Like I'm going Starks.
I would like to think so. I just don't think Jericho's going to lose 3 matches to one person.
You're going to go Jericho, really?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, at least this is interesting. I mean, we both have heart and head, and we have, like I don't know that I'm right, of course, on that one, but it.
Well, I am also very much might call out my mulligan. I'm going to tell you right now.
Oh.
In advance with the trios, when we get to Moxley and Hangman,
right?
Because I could see if Moxley beats Hangman, then like all of the elite like go back and lick their wounds, and they bring Hangman together and they come back. That's one thing you could do with all of them, is bring them all back as this big thing.
But you can't call the mulligan on the night. You got to call it,
No, I could call it tonight.
Yeah, well, you have to call it tonight. You can't call it.
Yeah, I know.
On the night
I'm not
of the
saying
show.
I'm going to call it later. I'm saying I'm going to call. I said when we get to that match.
Right.
I'm giving you the heads up so you can, start your think tank going. And...
Well, I know who I'm picking for that match, but Samoa Joe Wardlow will do next. Joe. I think Wardlow comes later. Here's why I'm going with this, because there's more to it. If you look at kind of how they're shaping up this Dynamite, they're doing a what do they call it? The Face of the Revolution ladder match, I believe they call it. That seems like that's going to be for Joe, like the number one contender for Joe's title. That's what it seems like to me, because of the people involved in the match. One of the people involved in that match is Powerhouse Hobbs. They've already announced that that Joe will be on commentary for that match. I think they're going towards a Powerhouse Hobbs Samoa Joe feud, where Hobbs takes the TNT title off of Joe to then have Hobbs feud with Wardlow. That's why Joe retains in this match. My personal opinion. I'm going Joe.
I just think at a certain point you've built Joe up.
I mean, you do have the hair thing, don't you? You have the hair thing, but also you have to do a fucking split if you're doing Ring of Honor the way that they said they're going to. So Joe could be the face of Ring of Honor with that title and lose this other title and actually split AEW and Ring of Honor, which you eventually need to do if you're going to make them something. Well,
because Wardlow's not getting a Ring of Honor title and not going there. Yes, we've seen Wardlow, Hobbs, whatever. They've all been in the same picture. But it's interesting because that's the thing that drives my decision, is that this made Joe so much hotter. And I think that was a play.
Yeah, I'm switching. I'm switching.
So I think Wardlow retains, it splits it, and then Joe is face of the Ring of Honor going into that split because they're going to have their own shows and network or subscription service or whatever.
No, I'm going Wardlow too. Yeah, I think you're probably right. I forgot about the hair stuff too. You can't fuck with hair. It's wrestling.
Yeah, you can't fuck with hair.
Moxley, Hangman Page in a Texas Death Match. It's Hangman. It has to be Hangman. This has to be Hangman.
Does have to be, or does it?
It's Hangman. This one I'm going hardcore on, not changing my mind. And I don't think the Wardlow one counts as my mulligan, by the way, because I still got it on the same round. I changed my mind in the round in the discussion. So yeah, I'm going Hangman on this. I'm going Hangman.
All right. I'm going to go Moxley, but I'm going to change my trios to House of Black.
Okay, fair enough. Scratch it off the Elite. Put a little mulligan up here. House of Black. And you're going Mox. Interesting. All right. Walk me through the decision.
On why I did that?
Yep.
It's so it's kind of like I said a few minutes ago. I'm looking at titles changing hands or not changing hands. I'm kind of counting that.
Sure.
I'm also looking at what Kenny Omega has been saying in some of his interviews and things that we were talking about earlier. What is he going to do? Is he, what does he have left to do? That sort of thing. The fact that they've kept the trios titles and like Young Bucks have wrestled on their own, in tag team matches recently makes me think that they've saved it for this. It'll be a banger of a match that are going to put House of Black over. They're going to lose. Hangman can lose to Mox. They'll shut the whole thing down for good. And then Hangman can reunite with, they're all going to, like I said, they're all like fucking kittens licking their wounds.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They lost a bunch of things and now they're all, and that is what brings them all together for me.
Okay.
Like, and now creates a new story for them to come back.
I don't hate that.
Because this
I
is
definitely
what,
don't hate. I definitely don't hate it. I definitely don't hate it.
Because this is what, in my opinion, and this is what sold me on it in my mind, is AEW needs. They need some sort of main draw or faction or something that they haven't had. So they're going to go back to the well. They're going to go back to what they had. Because the
Omega and Hangman as well is such a compelling story that you can tell forever. Like realistically, like it's I mean, it's not a bad pick. I'm still gonna go with Hangman winning. You're going with Mox.
Well, at least it's a little bit competitive.
Yeah, it totally is. We got a lot on the line here. We got 2 matches left that are announced thus far. We have a 4-way tag team match for the AEW Tag Team Championship. We got the Guns, Austin and Colton, versus the Acclaimed. We got Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett in a TBD of the winners of the Casino Tag Team Royal, whatever that is.
Battle
Royale, yeah. So that happens. That's tomorrow. That's tomorrow.
Top Flight, Aussie Open.
Okay.
Daddy Magic and
Cool Hand Lou.
Cool Hang and Ange. Best Friends, Dark Order, The Kingdom, The Butcher and the Blade, Lucha Bros, Claudio and Yuta, and Preston Vance and Roosh.
It's interesting. This is a weird one. I want Butcher and the Blade to be in there to win, like to get into that spot, because I think we need to start pushing them before it's too late to give them a shot, because they could be great. They could be like a demolition type tag team.
They
could
did, yeah. I thought for a while. I'm into Butcher and Blade.
Butcher and Blade are awesome. I think that like strapping them up at some point is a smart idea. I think that like by the way, with this match, I think Acclaimed win the belts back. Like that's
I think they do too, no matter however you put it. So you can put me down for Acclaimed, but I also think there's an argument.
It's almost more interesting to see who the TBD is than it is the winners of the match in this sense.
Yeah, I think I could also make an argument for Roosh and Preston Vance at this point, in all honesty, because you need another tag team. You need something for them to do. You need
Roosh is really over. Like
he is really over.
Really over. He's like, I think Preston Vance has a ton of potential. I've talked about him before. Like I think he's got what it takes. Like he's almost like he's like just this far away from it clicking all together and it working right. And I think that a tag team sort of title run could help him get to that level. So
it could give him the exposure for him to then have the ability to like turn that knob, right? Like you're talking about, to be able to then get that momentum behind him.
The point is too, like really, really quickly, with the other three teams, we're all sick of seeing all of them interacting. So whoever the TBD is needs to be who is interacting with the champions who win the match. So that TBD will be the next challengers, right? The most logical.
Open.
I mean, I want it to be. It's just like that's it's a contract thing. I don't know. Like Aussie Open and the Acclaimed is not like I want to see Aussie Open versus a lot of other teams before the Acclaimed. Aussie Open.
Why not just get it out of the way though?
No, because you want to save. You want to use match. Aussie. I think you want to use.
You can always run it back.
I think you use Aussie Open in a more work rate match than that. I think you use Aussie Open in a really, really impressive tag team competition.
But FTR.
I mean, trios with the fucking Elite is what you do with Will Ospreay. But
they did that.
I know, but do it again because it's good. I just like the idea of the Acclaimed versus Butcher and the Blade. I just think that really looks like that could really, even if the Butcher and the Blade don't get to that, like the win it, right? You can do like a best of 3 series with those guys, make it interesting and make a cool feud out of them. They're the right type of characters to interact with each other. Aussie Open isn't, to me, I don't know Aussie Open and Acclaimed, like that chemistry is going to connect in my mind.
I just don't think we've had the chance to see the Aussie Open, like actually
the gimmick and the characters and everything. Yeah, you're right.
But I also agree with what you're saying, because you don't see that it would mesh well, other than possibly some wrestling styles. But Aussie Open has a little bit more. They lean a little bit more towards the FTR side of the spectrum for me. If I were to like have like a dial, right, and you have like high flyers over on one side and you have like technical brawlers over here, you know, like they seem like they're a little there, but they can do the high flying stuff a little bit.
They're also I think they're freelancing though too. They're not under any sort of contract. I feel doubtful that they're gonna want to put them in such a high profile feud like that.
Call them Aussie Open contract.
Yeah, good one. Good one, buddy. Good one.
Yeah. looking at the rest of this,
I think I like the more I think about
Kingdom.
The more I like. See, that's the Tony Khan.
I don't
pick.
need Lucha
Tony
Bros.
Khan. Like Lucha Bros, Lucha Bros need to do something different for a bit. We don't need to see them again for a little while.
Fuck Yuta. You and I
that
talked
shouldn't
about
happen.
And Claudio, not fuck Claudio, fuck Yuta, but
no, that shouldn't happen. Claudio's in his own program down in Ring of Honor.
Vance, Butcher and Blade, which we both agree on those.
No, I think Roosh. No, it's Roosh. It's Roosh and Preston.
If Roosh and Preston Vance,
that's who it should be. That's who it should be.
That's who it should be.
Yeah. You're right. and they should go into a feud with the Acclaimed. Like that will, I think that will work nicely.
I think that'll work really well.
All the raps Max Caster can do about him being in the Dark Order and like now you're a Mexican and all this sort of stuff. Like that writes itself. Like I think there's some chemistry there that gets him screen time.
You were in the Dark Order. Now we're trying to build a border. Shit like that.
Yeah.
Because Rouge is Mexican.
Yeah, I got it.
See,
I got it. I got it.
Yeah,
I got it.
Kind of like Jay-Z. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, you're pretty good at this.
I'm pretty good, but I don't see. You don't need, because you have Dark Order in there too, which means that Dark Order could help Preston Vance possibly with him and
no. They're gonna. Oh no, like. Preston Vance is gonna take them out immediately. Like that's
you just don't know. But the Kingdom, definitely fuck them. They don't need anything.
I mean, they're good, but they're just not. That's Ring of Honor stuff. Like that's NXT stuff. Like I don't need.
Best friends wouldn't work. Although, what was the last match I saw Trey in?
Trent.
Oh, Trent. Sorry, Trey. Fuck.
No, you gotta go, and you gotta go Trent. Because he's got a question mark at the end of his name.
Literally, when I said Trey, I looked off at the wall in the distance behind my monitors, and I started thinking about Trey Parker with the glasses in basketball.
Yeah,
and I was like, "Was that right?" And you were like, "Trent," and I was like, "No, it wasn't right."
Snap right out of it.
Yeah, so thank you for that. We don't need JAS. Top Flight's not going to be in there. They don't need to be in there. So yeah, I think we are down to Butcher and the Blade.
Nah, it's
Rouge and Preston Vance.
It's Rouge and Preston Vance. That's yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
But they're still not winning the match because we're not even predicting that. But
yeah, we both already picked.
We're going Acclaimed.
It's like we literally just did a this week prediction for the Battle Royale.
I know we did. Just an extra bonus for everyone. But then you've got, of course, MJF versus Bryan Danielson in their 60-minute Iron Man match for the AEW World Championship. Before we get to that man, oh sorry, burping here, too much beer. But no, that promo that MJF did, with when he's talking about his fiance and stuff. It's kind of real there, he did a great job with it, as he always does. There's still
I forget her name, but have you gone and seen her artwork?
She's cute. I've seen her art. It's great.
Her artwork's great.
Yeah. I'm on a real life level, sorry it didn't work out. I hope everything's cool. There's no whatever it is, right? I can't imagine MJF is yes, even the character, he's not using his real life fiance without her permission, in a story even with a an ex-fiance breakup type scenario. He's smarter than that because he knows she's a public figure. Unless he's being a super dick or whatever.
Yeah.
I thought it was really really
it's
good.
For the pop that was cleared by any at least them personally. At most them personally, at least their publicists.
Yeah, exactly. But MJF has to retain. It's too soon for him to drop it, right?
Yeah. Oh, it's way too soon for him to drop it. And I think you then are I think you're very good at telling the story. One, you've had this workhorse in Bryan Danielson for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, right? But he had a little bit off, and he's going to come back. I think you're going to see that, and MJF is going to get one or two quick ones on him. Danielson's going to run him through the ringer, get a bunch on him. They're going to end up being tied up. Maybe MJF gets one quick one at the beginning, and then they run the program. At the very end, they're very close to 60 minutes. They're tied. MJF pulls his chicken shit heel move and retains.
I don't think it's gonna be like that. I think that MJF is gonna get his final one by submission due to the arm injury and shoulder injury that Daniel Bryan's been selling this whole time that he's been working on, which falls into prey of MJF's true finisher, which is the salt of the earth.
Yeah.
And then he can call that dirty bastard the bath salt of the earth. Because he's a
salt of the earth, which is fucking genius.
How I came up with that.
Did you float that out today?
It's the first time I used it since I texted it you about it.
Right.
Like, yeah. No, I didn't.
I told you to float it out to good old Maxwell there.
Yeah. I'm just saying, how is he not called someone like Timothy Thatcher or that dirty, gross, bearded, like goat-looking motherfucker in Daniel Bryan? Bath salt of the earth.
He is a goat-looking motherfucker. He's like grumpy goat.
He's a grumpy goat.
He's a grumpy goat.
Well,
you're killing all my trees and my greens.
I mean, we got through the fucking predictions, which is good, but there's still so much AEW shit I do want to bring up real quick. Evil Uno fucking stepped it up against Mox this past week. Did you get to see that match?
I saw that live, and it was violent.
It was like, again,
it was a good match, but I will.
We're over the blood.
That
like stop it every time.
I'm done with the blood. It
not
has
everyone.
to stop. It has to stop.
Yeah.
And because the thing is this, it keeps getting deeper. They keep like cutting deeper because they need to show color, and they need the reaction. But if you don't have color in the program as much, then the reaction is there without you having to cut so deep. And I understand that wrestlers do accidentally cut deep sometimes, but I just feel like I'm seeing like blood all the time.
Save it for the pay-per-view. That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you need to start doing. Like, you don't, like, not every week. Like, because it's going to happen the hard way here and there with the style that they're working anyway. Let that shine so that when you do it at a pay-per-view, it means something to, like, you know, you don't
or
have
when you need to use it in a storyline.
Yes. Use
to
it
sell something. It works.
And I love me some Mox, but like he's the most egregious offender of this, you know.
100%.
Like what are you doing, man? You can wrestle a match without this. You're using it as a crutch now. Like it's and it feels cheap, and it's like, I'm done with it. How did you feel about Tony Khan's big announcement?
I mean, I wasn't thinking it was anything major, and I actually was turned on a little bit by the not the announcement. I wasn't turned on by that. I was turned on to the announcement by an article I had read a few hours before it, and they were saying that, and I think I texted you this, that like they didn't use words in advertisement that it was like huge or a giant.
They definitely tried to downplay the verbiage to not make it seem like life shattering. You gotta tune in to goddamn Dynamite to see this fucking
it was
announcement.
Like, and then I think day of, even after they had like said it in commercials or whatever, it was like then in print it was an important announcement, right?
Yeah.
Like it got to important level, but I also thought it was kind of stupid that he then was like, I have something important to say, but I think that it's more important if fucking Adam Cole says it. Like, why don't I just have like an Adam Cole segment and you promote the Adam Cole segment?
Yeah.
Rather than you doing that. Because
just say
that's bullshit,
Adam Cole has a few things to say, and what he does without Tony Khan, he goes on there. And
before Revolution, we all thought he was going to have a match before Revolution.
Because he still kind of cut a promo that said that, you know, he's going to be back in the ring soon. So you could basically just do that where it's like, oh yeah, my big announcement, I'm coming back soon. You could be egging people on. And then
he gave us the date.
Oh, but you think that's it? By the way, what do you think I've been doing in all this off time? I was over here filming this show making me famous.
That doesn't go with storyline, because he's been telling me in the ring that he's been barely walking, not knowing what's happening in his bathroom, doesn't know what toothpaste is, can't sleep. Britt's wondering what's happening.
But you could tell that too. He could be like, you know how hard it's been for me? Like it's all on this.
I would love them to do that. I also don't hate this as much as you do, because when it comes to like a production that I love, the like brief like I just hope it's not a total divas type thing. Like I hope it's more about like wrestling business, which I also know it will be.
It's gonna be in the middle. Yeah, it's gonna be like Road to the Top was, right? It's gonna be.
Well, I think this is the replacement. Like they needed a replacement, and this is it.
And Adam Cole Baby is a damn good replacement. If you're asking, Adam Cole and Britt Baker.
And Britt, yeah, I'm for that.
Pretty good replacement.
Yeah. But I think that I don't know. I think like that's what gets me. It's like when, you know, I've talked to Duncan and stuff like that. Like I'm, you know me, like I'm an audio guy. I went to school for audio and stuff like that, and things as well. So I like dig into that. But like Duncan worked for Cirque, right? Or does work for Cirque. Or shit, I maybe shouldn't say that, bleep that, but I don't know. But whatever. But he knows that so much that like he would get me tours and take me backstage and like these types, and I would get to sit with the sound engineer and like while they're doing things like that, you know, like I'm that type of dork. Like whereas I do want to go
what you're
talk
saying
to
is,
the wrestlers, see the wrestlers, but as like a production person, like
you wanted to see how the production is done,
what's put together, like how is this shit put together, like I don't know. That would be a cool. We should start a channel. Maybe it starts as a Twitch channel and a YouTube, and then eventually we get to some sort of fucking network.
Sure.
But where it is people in the business who do audio, lighting design,
behind the scenes of the technical aspects of what you're doing,
like stuff like that. Like, and you're putting on huge shows, and what if you're doing like huge shows, like people like. I don't even know if this dude's big, but I'm just gonna say Kenny Chesney. I don't know why that name's in my head right now.
You went to Kenny Chesney.
Yeah, but like, you know, like when they have such big rigs, they have. I've talked to people
lighting rigs.
I talked to people who like managed the trucks. Okay. They're like, I had 38 fucking 18-foot trucks or 24-foot trucks, and they're like, and not only that, but like when it's in one city. We have a second set in the city they're going to next. So once they close down the next city, they're going to the city after the next city because it's that big. So they have like almost 80 trucks on the fucking road dealing with this.
You're 100% correct. The last time my friend, I personally chose not to work on this gig. I could have worked on this gig, but not in a particularly glamorous fashion. More just lifting truss and bolting shit and whatever. But
that's part of the show, though.
When Miley Cyrus came to town a couple years ago, like this was actually pre-COVID. She's probably been back since, but she played our Citrus Bowl, our stadium. It's got a stupid name now, whatever. But like that was something around like 70 to 80 full like semis, you know, of gear, and like they have to set up. It's usually those shows are a week and a half to 2 week setup for that, you know, like it's Mania, for instance.
That was they like shut down a bunch.
It's probably about that many trucks of gear. But they like those are done. From my understanding, Manias start about. Yeah, it's about the same. It's about a 2 week setup. It's about a 2 week full setup.
Like the amount of planning that goes into
that's nuts, man. It's cool.
Hats off to that. It's so good. See, that's the type of show I would geek out on.
I've worked some big shows in my life, but I've never worked a show that big, you know? Like imagine being the lead sound guy, like that's going out to like. I mean, you got a million sound guys because some guys are doing broadcasts, some guys are doing. You know, live stadium, whatever. But imagine being in that seat, like making sure that microphone is gonna go on for when, say, fucking Hulk Hogan pops out on that stage and fucking. I mean, for us, it was the New Day, right? They were our hosts.
Yeah, they were.
Right. So, but imagine being that guy, making sure that shit better fucking work with the time, like, you know, like, okay.
You didn't unmute it?
Yeah, you didn't.
You didn't unmute it,
You
Jerry.
didn't unmute it. Yeah.
Really?
Big E, do that thing backstage again where you go about the power. You know? But imagine, yeah, that shit. I mean, that's why they hire the best of the best, though. They really do. Like, they really do.
They really do. Although now you've got Miley Cyrus in my mind, and there's something about that girl, man. I'm gonna tell you what.
She's kind of hot, like trashy, sexy. She's trashy, sexy.
Trashy, sexy.
Yeah.
And her voice too.
Oh, I love her. I love her raspy voice
too. I love her raspy voice,
dude. I that's always been a thing. I like. It's two things about me, and honestly, I mean, I like a lot of women, but man, I love a good trashy, smoky voice on a woman. My wife doesn't have that. Her voice is, like she can't sing, but it is sweet.
It's kind of pretty sweet and crystal clean.
It is sweet. Yeah. It's sweet. I like a good crooked nose, man. Every once in a while, like I like a good crooked nose.
You said this on the Oh No radio show recently.
My wife does not have any of that either. Now, my wife's just like a perfect, like smoking hot Latina. But again. Like, I'm not saying that a raspy voice or a crooked nose is a bad thing, Like
and to be honest, man, I'll be honest with you. I like a crooked nose, better than like a schnoz.
Yeah. I'd rather that.
Really not bad. I'm not hating on that if you have it, but like, do your thing. But I do agree with you that there are some like weird little things that you're like,
I like imperfections. Here and there. I tell you who Trish Stratus doesn't have any imperfections.
I didn't see it, and I haven't seen any clips, but I can only imagine.
I mean, she looked great. I mean, and then Becky and Lita won the tag team championships. Shows you how much they care about those belts. Not going to talk about that.
Lita's neck is not looking great. I will tell you that. So in the promo backstage prior to the match, because I watched some of it,
it's stiff. It's got that weird like.
Because she lifted everything up here. She did the facelift thing, but like she didn't do this. So like it goes from like full smooth.
I wonder if that's because she's had to have all those. She had all those neck surgeries. A lot of neck surgeries. So I wonder if it's
a lot of neck braces.
Yeah, it's probably part of it. It can't have hurt or helped rather. Can't have helped.
Yeah, I guess you can't. Like I guess if you're getting plastic surgery, you don't like stretch skin down and back on your neck because I feel like that's all she could do. It just looks like it looks like weird. Hulk Hogan's like it's all tan and it looks like a piece of meat and out in the sun.
Do you believe Jericho at all when he says he has no interest in ever going back to WWE?
Not at all.
No, me neither.
Jericho's going where the pop is and where he can keep living forever, man.
That and fair enough. Honestly.
Yeah, fair enough. Good on him. I can't hate on that at all.
We need to talk a little bit about Ring of Honor and how that's kind of shaping up. They did their first tapings, of course, over at Universal Studios Orlando in Soundstage 19, the old Impact Zone. For those not familiar, They've been doing, of course, dark tapings and elevation tapings there for quite a while. They do sets of them, but they really decked it out this time around. They put up a ton of screens. They put a nice looking set in there, and I gotta say, I'm not a big fan, of course. I don't think I'll ever be a fan of studio shows, but this actually looked pretty good. And a lot of people were saying, I wasn't there, but a lot of people were saying it had the vibe of kind of like the old Full Sail. The old Full Sail NXT like type deal. They made sure to do a lot of hot angles and a lot of like build because, spoiler alert, you literally had Zack Sabre JR coming out at one of these tapings, defending his New Japan Pro Wrestling television title.
Yep.
Then you had an angle basically start that can be huge with fucking Claudio, the Ring of Honor World Champion, and someone who's been half feuding with him his entire career, Eddie Kingston. What a perfect way, if they do this right, to get Kingston a fucking world championship.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's probably never going to be able to get the big one, right? This is how you do it, though. This is how you honor him. That's
how you honor him, and then you do Kingston Briscoe.
Absolutely. I think you can absolutely do that. I love that they're actually looking towards, this match is booked for the pay-per-view. Mark Briscoe, Samoa Joe for the Ring of Honor TV title. Put that on Mark Briscoe, because why the fuck not?
Why the fuck not?
You know, that actually kind of played into my head too when I was thinking about Joe thing.
I hadn't thought of that, so now I'm still sticking with my pick. But
I already used your mulligan, so you're
that's
tough
true.
shit.
Well,
tough shit.
I
Technically, I could.
I never even crossed my mind. I was just saying I still stuck with it.
I'm happy with my picks, I think. It's but I can see him winning or losing another, but it would be a cool way to. It all depends on what what Mark's wanting to do, and I think that's a very complex situation.
No, I think he's fucking wanting to wrestle.
Oh, it seems that way, but I think you definitely need to analyze that. And if I'm Tony Khan, I'm kind of like, let's just day by day, step by step, make sure you're cool. If you want to go in a week, whatever. But yeah, I can see him winning that belt, and I can see Joe being happy to drop that belt to him too. So that's, I think, really cool. Real quick, back to MJF. He was compared on Twitter to Alberto Del Rio. Fuck that guy. So he was compared to him, and then MJF literally responded, "Except I'm not a racist, an abuser, a bad promo, a poser, a bitch, and a drug addict, and an overrated wrestler."
Boom.
And he's not wrong in
not wrong.
Anything that he said. I feel like this was probably someone that Alberto Del Rio knows too, who he has been trying to get his name and back in the industry for a while now, and no one will touch him, and rightfully so. And I think this is one of those, basically, that's a Del Rio troll, if that makes any sense. Someone trying to start that fight.
No, that makes sense. I do want to throw out, I did talk about this maybe last week or the week before. I had my Jade Cargill conundrum.
Oh, yeah.
They then furthered the Jade Cargill conundrum for me by the fact that they had a promo this week. Well, it was a video package where she's like, "I'm 53-0. Who haven't I beat?" And then she starts listing people, and she's like, "Red Velvet, Blue Sky, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like,
Abaddon,
you haven't beat any of the chicks on the fucking main roster for women. So, how about
you do that?
That, because you haven't talked about any of them, and you're showing all this. So 53-0 against basically none of them.
Willow that fucking belt.
Seriously,
now.
Do something. Do something.
And just get Willow that belt and get it off Jade, and it will make that belt mean something.
And it'll elevate Jade, and it'll elevate the women's division.
And elevate Willow.
Yes, it'll elevate the whole division. And them both of them individually, and it'll still and Jade will still be. They're not giving it.
They're not giving it to Willow because I think Tony is. I mean, that's Chris Statlander's belt, and I think she's.
You keep saying that. I'm just not.
Well, okay. They released. They released a shirt. They released a new shirt for her this past week. In the last 2-3 days, they released a new shirt for her.
Do you have an alert for that on your phone? How do you know that?
Yeah, I just had it ready. No, they released a new shirt. They released a new shirt for her, and I think it was always the original plan there have not like it's been like before a wrestler comes back from an injury, you get all the talk of the injury and then it goes quiet for like a few weeks. And then the wrestler pops back, right? It's always what happens.
She's been gone for a while.
We're in the quiet right before it pops back. Chris Statlander, in my opinion, is probably coming back soon.
Revolution?
Yeah, could be. And maybe she challenges night of
Jade does an open
for the
challenge
belt.
Night of.
Yep,
Because
and Statlander
has beaten everyone, and Statlander shows up. God damn you, Owen.
Yep.
God damn it, you sold me on it. Book it.
And it would be great because we'd all fucking welcome her reappearance. Also get rid of Jade from this belt.
Unless she's a little alien-y.
Oh, she's not. No, she knows. Like, she was doing some cool fucking shit before
she was.
left
I just
this
hope she doesn't
time.
go like full like Sarah Logan.
Oh no, don't Valhalla me.
She could ride that line. I only say that because like they have a similar build and like long brown hair and
dude, Statlander's way hotter than Logan, by the way.
I wasn't even talking about being hot, but yeah, she is.
She's way hotter and way more talented and way more charismatic.
She is way more talented.
I mean, if I'm Triple H, I have all the money in the world and I can sign one of the two. I'm going Statlander all fucking day long. She's also really tall. Like, which she's kind of she's really pretty tall. She's kind of a specimen that you can. It's apples and oranges for sure.
She puts in the fucking work though.
In a weird way, like in a weird way, she could almost become AEW's Rhea Ripley type.
Oh, okay.
Okay, like in a weird way, I think that's what you can do with her.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
I see exactly what you're saying.
Because, let's
just say she has an opportunity to be a Ripley or a Baszler. Choose wisely.
Choose wisely. Yeah. Go with the rips.
Yeah.
You know about Isaiah Cassidy's moan thing that he's been doing? You know about this?
No.
Okay, so it's like a TikTok thing. Right. I've heard this from other podcasts and dads and stuff that have kids that are addicted to TikTok, whatever.
Okay.
And so it's one of those stupid viral trends, and they do this sexual moan, and it's a viral thing. And
all right, so let me guess how it goes. Real quick.
Okay.
He goes, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that is definitely one, but it's not the one that Isaiah Cassidy and these kids are doing, because they're going like this, like they're doing like this weird sexual moan. Isaiah Cassidy has been doing this on like Dark and Elevation and Rampage, I think, and it's part of his gimmick, and he's getting the crowd to do it, and they're doing it, and it's gonna probably be a thing. So I'm warning you, because it's cringy and it's awful, and just be prepared. Everyone, you, Matthew, and everyone out there listening to this podcast, be prepared, because that's going to happen. It's the moan thing that Isaiah Cassidy does. And,
I want to say, I think the only proper response to this is going to be in that Gen Z language, which is dead ass, no cap. I don't want none of that shit.
All right. I actually understood that, to be honest. I actually got it. I understood that. One last thing I wanted to mention, or I got two things. We got to do our Twitter follow of the week, and that's WWE gimmicks that just didn't work. And that's
at WWE.
Yeah, it's at didn't work out WWE. Yeah, WWE gimmicks that just didn't work at didn't work out WWE. That's your Twitter follow of the week. Basically, you'll see a lot of terrible gimmicks that are always fun to remind yourself of. Oh, that happened in the 90s.
Yeah.
It's a good one. I've seen a few good ones on there lately. A couple I didn't even know about, to be honest with you. I'm like,
Okay.
oh, wow, that's a reminder, or like, oh, that's enlightening. But yeah, so that's a good new account that you need to be following.
It is the first one that I see.
What do you got there? What do you got on there?
Oh, it's John Moxley with the gas mask.
Yep, that was a WWE gimmick that
and
didn't
then
work.
there's like a picture of him like showing me his hip. He's like pulling down his pants and like lifting up his.
Because
he's,
that
like,
remember he was, because he was being he was showing you that he had gotten a jab lately.
Oh, okay.
That was what he was showing you that he got like
gutters.
no that a doctor had like given him some shots to make him immune to these disgusting people. That was the gimmick. Yeah. It's pretty stupid.
Well, 9 hours ago. Oh, this is a good one.
What you got?
Veer Mahan.
Yeah. Well,
that was recent.
That was recent. That's a recent one.
Very recent.
Yeah. Just straight up, just Veer Mahan. That was the thing.
That just didn't work.
Remember Shanky? He was all dancing. That gimmick did not work.
Yeah, that didn't work. They got the hacker on there.
Yeah, Mustafa Ali said he was, and then he was just like, yeah, but
Yeah. Oh, do you remember Enzo and Naya's romance?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
That's one.
See, this is a good account. Like, it reminds you of all the terrible, awful storylines and gimmicks and things that are going on. Again,
yeah, I'll let you. This is the last one.
Yeah,
the Heartthrobs.
Who are the Heartthrobs?
So just another tag team that was there during the Ruthless Aggression era.
Oh,
so
no.
I missed this, but looking at the pictures, I hate this team.
Yeah.
They mainly appeared on Heat, but their most notable moment was when they faced Kane in a 2-on-1 handicap beat the clock challenge on Raw, which Kane won in 27 seconds, which is about all you need to know about these jobbers.
Yep. That's about it.
One of them, they're wearing Tupac pink bandanas, like way worse than Finn's bandanas, white trunks, black boots, and they're like doing some torque move like this.
White guys too, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Chads.
Long hair, short hair.
Oh, short and spiky.
Yeah. Okay, I got the picture. Yeah, I got. Yeah, I'm picking up what's going down
You
here.
got that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I had to mention that. I had to mention that Twitter, because it's been a good follow. It never lets me down, and I try and find like good wrestling Twitters for everybody out there. Every week.
Yeah. Well, I am gonna sorry, one more, dude. Remember main roster Ascension? Like they were all into cheese. Wasn't one of them all into cheese?
I don't remember that.
I think he was super into cheese.
He was super into cheese?
Yeah, like they went.
Which
really
one? The
comic.
one with the stringy balding hair, long hair, or the one with the mohawk thing?
The one with the mohawk thing and the chops.
Okay. I like him more, by the way.
I like him more, but I remember
he was into cheese.
I think there was a thing when they went main roster where he got really into cheese.
I might
and,
not have
Otis
been...
and Otis was a part of it.
Yeah. Otis wasn't around then.
You sure?
Otis wasn't around on the main roster when the Ascension. No way. Nah.
I don't know.
Nah.
It all runs together, man.
Ascension and cheese. I don't know. We'll have to ask.
I don't know. I'm gonna Google it later. Maybe next week.
Well,
hey everybody, tune in next week to get my hot takes on the Ascension's main roster run and
their cheese
because
obsession.
I think that was a thing. Find out next week, cliffhanger, if that was a thing or not.
So I don't even want
to go to our Facebook group at facebook.com/Ono Wrestling, and you could get into the group and tell us before we record and tell us whether it was cheese or not cheese.
I don't even want to talk about CM Punk and the trouble he's starting online and troll. He's just a straight up troll. Let's just call it. I don't want to talk about it because everybody else is talking about it and none of it means anything. There's nothing to it really. He's just being a troll, doing CM Punk things. And that's fine. He has every right to do that. But people are reading way too much into every goddamn thing. And that's why I just don't really want to talk about it. I'm going to have emotions if, in a lot of different ways, if he shows up anywhere. Well, I guess let me just have those emotions when they happen if he shows up anywhere. That's to the point. That's the point I'm at with it.
Yeah, that's kind of at the point I'm at with
I'm
it. But
tired
I did agree with you a while ago. Yeah, well, I'm tired of talking about it and it being a topic of conversation. I agree with that. But you did say a couple of weeks ago in a text you had mentioned, like, I'm not saying I like it, but I think
we talked about it last week. I still think he comes back to AEW.
We did, but so let me float this your way. We talked about Kenny Omega being on Renee's podcast.
Yep.
I've not listened to it, but I read very descriptive transcript of it before the show. And he does talk about Brawl Out. He doesn't get into any details as one would expect. He then does say something to the effect of, and I don't know if it's like a Mark Henry quote or whatever it was, like, you know, like people will fight, like, but even after that, you can have some, I don't know, something in competition. He talks about being in competitive and combat sports, and like things like that happen, and people, and he's like, everyone on all sides not happy. It'll never come out what happened, but no one's happy how it started, how it went, how it ended.
He says he's saddened by the fact that no one will ever be able to hear the story of what happened because
it'll be on a plane ride from hell
years from now.
But what you can do now is have Kenny start doing a media scrum.
Yeah.
Talking about his contract and this, that, and the other. There's speculation. CM Punk, WWE. I don't think Tony would let that happen.
Is this a sign that it might even be like a wink,
the two of them
that brings CM Punk back in all of this
to Kenny Omega and CM Punk for no title for fucking bragging rights or like shut the fuck up rights?
It's goddamn money. I mean,
it is. I mean, everyone. Everyone will buy
the drama. I mean, the drama alone, right? Like we have our opinions. We can all have our opinions on both parties.
Do that all out.
But that to me is on the level, maybe even more, of a Roman Sammy at WrestleMania type thing, right? Like it's got parallels.
Yeah, and if you do it
and
right.
If you're AEW, what's the one thing you need right now? That.
And also
Tony Khan wants what they have in that bloodline. And it's not even just, he doesn't want the wrestlers necessarily. He doesn't want the storyline. He wants the drama. He wants that feeling, right? And it's impossible to buy.
And who's to say?
But
years and years down the road, when we hear about Brawl Out,
it will never have been a work. By the way, it will never have been a work.
No,
but to make it in, what's that?
There's whispers.
There's whispers
in the winds. They will whisper forever until they tell this full story.
That's fair. That's fair.
It would be the greatest. It would be the greatest work of all works.
I just don't think it's ever gonna. I don't think it was ever a work. Is gonna ever be a work.
It's a great way to turn it into a work.
Well, no. I think that it loses its power at this point if it is found to be a work. It has to be real backstage. Like that thing had to have happened. That like real corporate separation between Punk and Khan had to have happened. There had to have, because that would unbabyface AEW. It would make them look really fucking. Our trust in them would kind of be a little disillusioned. They couldn't do any of the stuff that they do with these fake press conferences, all this sort of thing, right? We
all know that's a work.
Absolutely. But here's what I'm saying though, like that's why that one part wasn't. And that's
But that's what I'm saying. You have to find in this day and age of it, what is the next way to get one over?
It is the new kayfabe. It is the new kayfabe. I don't know. I would have very mixed opinions, and I think it would turn off a lot of fans. I think that there would be people that would get it and people that wouldn't. I'm not saying that I would like it or dislike it.
Why? Because how did it affect them?
Well, I feel like that's the wrong way to sell yourself to a TV network and all this. Like, you have to be able to, like,
what if the TV network knew
is in on it too? I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's what we're talking about is a super complex issue, to be quite frank.
I'm just saying, when in this day and age with social media, if you can find a way, and tell me I'm not wrong.
I just don't think it's this complex.
Tony Khan would not be looking for a way to find a new way, and you wouldn't find out for 20, 30 years.
No. My point is, I don't think it's this complex at all. This wasn't a real argument. They really had it. They really fucking like had to go their separate ways, but then they realized, I mean, we can still make deals, right? Are we grown up enough now that enough time has passed to be able to get past this, to be able to be like, okay, how do we properly handle this to make the most amount of money when we bring you back? Because that's fucking do it. If you're cool with it and I'm cool with it, which I'm sure Punk is, and I'm sure Kenny is, and I'm sure the Bucks are, like, they're businessmen at the end of the day. That's what I think is going on. Like,
Punk has to lose.
Yes.
Punk has to lose.
Has to. The name is All Elite Wrestling. Never forget that. That's why Kenny Omega, as cool as it sounds, he ain't going to fucking WWE. In my opinion. But we'll see. You know, maybe the future will prove me wrong.
Story, man. Cody Rhodes story. Chase that dragon.
It is wrestling. Never say never. Let me ask you one last question before we get out of here. Let me ask you one last question. And it's the most important wrestling question of all.
Brock Lesnar or Omos?
Who is the best? And the WWE on Twitter asked this. WWE's Twitter account asked this.
Oh.
Who is the best musician in WWE history?
Is it a multiple choice or?
No, it's just throw it out there, bro. I don't know. I mean, is it the Honky Tonk Man?
Yeah.
Is it the Road Dogg, Jesse James? Is it Jeff Jarrett?
Is it Jeff Jarrett? Is it Elias?
I mean, My Baby Tonight is pretty good, and that was not Jeff Jarrett, of course. That was the Road Dogg, Jesse James. So My Baby Tonight is a solid, musical piece. Who's the best musician? Is it Elias? Is it Rick Boogs?
Is it Hit Row?
Definitely not. From like what I've seen in,
they're more artists.
Musicians. No, they're not that either. I'm just gonna go ahead and say, in my opinion,
mine too.
I like a lot of hip hop. It's nothing against the art, what they're trying to do. They're just not very good at what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
I love how Top Dollar thinks he's really good too. He thinks he's killing really good.
Yeah, you're killing it, dude.
Yeah, Tope Suicida.
Yeah, Tope Suicida match.
His raps are about as good as his Tope Suicidas.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Michael Cole, just keep dogging on him. So who else music-wise?
I'm trying to think, dude. Who we got? I mean, and because, obviously it doesn't, WWE asked this question, but we can throw it out to all of wrestling. Like, who are some music playing? I mean, because there's been. The Rock.
Xavier plays the trombone. I talked about it earlier.
Vader plays the trombone.
Xavier.
Xavier. Yeah, but he's not a very good trombone player.
He plays it though.
He goes bloop 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 bloop.
Fucking musician. Could you do that on the trombone?
He learned how to Yeah, probably. Give me a weekend.
He's not really doing that on the trombone, by the way. I don't want to break your fucking dreams, but
he used to.
I don't even think now he does though.
You don't even think he's blowing it? It's all just piped in?
Yeah.
Yeah? Because, well, he
think so.
definitely used to, because they used to have the mic pack and stuff, and you could see the mic. So he was definitely, like, at some point, they wouldn't be miking the whole thing. Yeah, he's not very good at trombone. Like, we know that. Like, he's not playing any good. Like, if he's playing it, dancing to the ring and stuff, no, he's not playing it. But when he's, like, at the side of the ring.
He could be really good at trombone. You just don't know.
He's not very good at, I'm just going to go out on a limb.
Maybe he's good at giving an old rusty trombone. I don't know.
Was Boogs ever playing the thing live? Like, I mean,
No, but he has a T-shirt of him playing on the moon.
Yeah, and that's it's pretty cool.
That leads me to believe he's awesome.
Yeah, Boogs has potential. I'm a Boogs guy. I'm a Boogsman.
Yeah, I'm a Boogsman.
Yeah.
Elias
not very good. I'd have to hear Honky again. I'd have to hear Honky. Did Honky used to sing, right? Honky used to sing. Let me see. Honky. Let me see if I can do some damage here. Honky Tonk Man. What do you think? Honky Tonk Man live?
Yeah, Honky Tonk Man live.
Honky Tonk Man live. All right. No, we got fucking Dwight Yoakam.
Oh, there's a song called Honky Tonk Man.
Yeah, it's fucking us up here.
Yep. Honky Tonk Man wrestler music.
Let me just hear his entrance music. I'm sure he sings it. Yeah, I remember this. I mean,
Jailhouse Rock. Or
I mean,
crying all the time. Elvis.
I'm the honky tonk man.
Whatever, I'm going Macho Man. He released a record.
No, this was his own song. He didn't
Well, it's a rip off of Elvis, which was a rip off.
Yeah, of course.
I
mean, it's a total rip off. Of course, that's the whole gimmick. But he recorded the vocals to the song.
Okay, I'm still going Macho Man. Macho Man is a
better
you're right.
Rapper
than
he
Top
did.
Dollar.
Macho Man is a better rapper than Top Dollar. I'll give you that. Hulk Hogan, good musician though.
He does do the guitar thing.
He did. Yeah, but you know, he had all those albums in Japan and stuff.
You guys visited one on the revisited
one
on a radio show.
Yeah, I know. That's why I don't want to play it again here. So, like, I mean, Hogan is actually in contention for being one of the best musicians that, like,
Did he rap too?
I'm sure he did back in the 80s.
He's rapped.
He's rapped. He's definitely rapped. I don't know,
Do you think John Cena can still rap?
Oh, we forgot about Cena.
Do you think he can still rap? Like, if you were to like be like, "Yo, bust a freestyle," do you think he could do it?
I think if you gave him 30 minutes notice, he could do it. Like, we're gonna need you to freestyle in 30 minutes. He'd be like, okay, he'd get a few things in his head, and I think he'd like get his
yeah, he's like,
he'd get his flow a little bit, and then but then I think he could. It wouldn't be great, but I think he could slip back into his groove. John Cena might. I mean, he might be on. Is he the best?
There.
He's not. I mean,
not best, but he was good at the rapping thing for being John Cena.
Yeah. I mean, it's between Hogan and Honky Tonk Man for me. I don't know. That's my. Those are my picks. I
don't know enough about Honky Tonk Man's musical talent to say that it's not.
Listen to it.
I know, but is he like playing?
Yeah, but
if he's playing that syncopated piano, then yes, he's a better musician.
All right, let's Google this. Did Honky Tonk Man? Did the wrestler? All right.
Yeah, wrestler.
Wrestler. Honky Tonk man make his own music? All right. I'm probably gonna have to ask this on like
Yeah, are you asking Jeeves or tell me what you see, not what you want me to hear.
Okay, so he did perform his own theme song, so we do know that it is definitely him.
Okay.
We know that part. We know he sings the song.
Did he sing it? So he sang
He's
it.
definitely sang it. I don't know anything about all right, let me see here.
They do say the human voice is the most technical instrument there is.
Yeah. Honky Tonk
I'm a honky tonk man. I mean, I kind of nailed it.
Oh man. But yeah, he did. We know he sang it. I got no more information other than that after.
All right.
So
I'm going Hogan.
You going Hogan over that? Oh yeah. I mean, it's
I feel like Hogan like rapped, went Christian, was kind of like tried to like did a little like glam rock, then like kind of tried to get like fake heavy with like the NWO Hollywood, Hendrix shit. Like, not that he played any of that. But
all right. I mean, you can make an argument for Shawn Michaels too. Just
Hogan
singing, like. Oh, I don't know.
Zack Sabre, not your boy toy.
I still, on occasion, if I'm in a bad mood, I will pull up the Vince McMahon version of that song.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. I like to hear Vince McMahon singing "Sexy Boy." That's a good.
Okay. If I'm in like a bad mood or like I'm like feeling gruff about something, you know what I like to do? If I'm walking and like I'm not like with people or whatever, but like people could be around, but like I'll sometimes be walking Bella doing it, but like I'll do the Stone Cold Steve Austin bad motherfucker walk.
Oh, that's good.
Like just you do that and you do the little head
Shake
turn and like the
yeah. Oh yeah.
Give that one just that's a powerful walk.
That's good. Lately, man, I'll straight up walk into work with that Roman Reigns theme playing, and
They're like, Owen just spent the first hour of work getting to his chair.
Getting to it. Yeah.
The music's still playing. I think he went to a cigarette break. No.
Yeah, I have to stop my own theme to go have a smoke, come back, like. Okay, where was I? All right, here we go.
Yeah.
And I get back.
As much as I will say, because we did talk about this, music-wise, as much as I'm not a fan of her, I wish I was more. I'm just not a fan of this instance of her.
Uh-huh.
The beginning of Bayley's theme song has that same vibe. It then goes bad, but the first like 10, 15 seconds has it does have that vibe now.
Well, listen. Oh, out of Damage Control though. It's
I know, but
it's
play Bayley's for a second. Play Bayley's for a second, please.
Is it the newest one?
It's the newest one.
Okay, Bayley theme. I can't.
I'm pretty sure we had this conversation. Then I heard it and I was like, damn, I was like, I wish it was better after it dropped, but the intro's good. I think.
Is it this one? Oh, no.
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can definitely tell it's made by the same dudes that made Romans.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, same really guitar tone.
Because then it's like.
I never want to play too much of them.
Yeah, I know, but in the second it gets really bad. So, but you see what I'm talking about, right?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
But no, Eos is the one that like, what is she? She's, and it's Io Sky now, but yeah, Io Sky now. I remember her as Io Shirai. Stupid But yeah, this one fucks. Like this one, like I don't know what it is. Like this thing.
Oh yeah, this one's dope.
This
dude.
one's fucking badass.
Yeah, that shit's dope. Really good intro music.
She needs to break off on her own. She's the best piece, in my opinion. She's the best piece of Damage Control at the moment.
She 100% is.
Yep. Dakota Kai.
Hey,
Dakota Kai's not doing anything for me.
You know, well, Dakota Kai looks like the bath salt of the earth.
Yes, she does look. Yes, she's been bath salting in. Yes, yeah. Bath salt of the earth for sure.
Yeah.
Wow, that's gonna become a phrase that.
It really is.
Maybe a lot of people will not understand, but those that do, they will. They will know.
Bath salt of the earth. That's a good one. Well done.
That being said, is it time we rock and roll out of here?
Yeah, we might want to.
I think so. We've gone pretty long tonight, but that's always fun. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you, Matthew. It's been a pleasure
as always
hanging out with our good friends just on the internet and making this show for you, having some fun talking about wrestling. Like I said, man, rules going to be changing for WrestleMania. You guys can get involved in all of our predictions contests. Again, facebook.com/group/OhNoWrestling. If you want to get any more information on that, I'll be trying to figure out all the rules and making it all legit and making sure it all works for all of us over the next week
too,
or so.
But I'll be rigging it for me, low key.
Exactly.
Dead ass, no cap.
Well, hey. From one predictions champion to the rest of the world, we thank you again for listening to the Odo Radio Show. If you ever want to leave a voicemail, 407-906-6466. Do not be afraid, of course, to check us out and subscribe over on Twitch, twitch.tv/ONRS Live. Patreon.com/ONRS. That ONRS, of course, stands for Ono Radio Show, and you should check that show out too, because it's called Ono Radio Show. It's on every week, and we have a lot of fun over there. Non-wrestling related, but you never know what you might hear, because I try and creep a little bit in, here and there on occasion. Matthew, what do we say when we send these people to bed?
We give them a little...
Woo, 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 woo.